And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex, the third of 3 9-inning games played here on the campus of the College of Staten Island today. Our final game of the day sees the College of Staten Island take on Finlandia University. The Lions of Finlandia University moving on in the CUNYAC tournament, eliminating the Bearcats at Baruch College by virtue of their victory over the Bearcats earlier today, and the Dolphins forced to play for a second time on the night after dropping their game to the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. It was a wild game between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds. We spoke at length about it following that game's conclusion, and we are set to get underway in tonight's third and final game. This is our final baseball broadcast of the season here on CSI Sportsnet, as we will head down the hill tomorrow to cover the softball championship. College of Staten Island will be involved in that as Chris Carnbach takes the mound for the Dolphins in this game. Carnbach did get an inning of work in the previous game. Came on late, allowed an unearned run. Here he falls behind the leadoff man, Brian Doyle, 1-0, and Doyle fouls back the 1-0 pitch, evening the count at 1. In the early game today, our first game, Doyle had 3 hits in 4 at-bats and scored a run. Productive day at the plate for the Lions leadoff hitter.
And we said it, Joe, before their first game. Their numbers not staggering by any means, but they strung a lot of hits together and ultimately took down Baruch.
While we have a moment, we can flash the starting lineup for Finlandia on the screen very quickly. We have that set up. Might as well use it as you get a quick look at the starting lineup for the Lions in this game. Of course, leading off is Brian Doyle, followed by Daniel Logan, the right fielder, Joey Krug, designated hitter, Devontae Fleming in the cleanup spot, Gene Pimentel batting 5th, Brandon Teichman, Game 1 starting pitcher, batting 6th, Ben Loya moves over from catcher to first base, he's batting 7th, Josh Gregory remains in center field, he's batting 8th, and Austin Donahue moves from right field to the catcher spot, he is batting 9th, and on the mound for the Lions is Nick Geiser, as Doyle lines one foul. That evens the count at 2. Geiser started at first base in the early game today. We'll have the numbers on Chris Carnbach in a few moments. Scrambling to fill out the starting lineups on my scorecard, as mention of my scorecard comes up once again, and that one's tapped back to the mound by Brian Doyle, and Carnbach handles it easily and throws on to first for the first out of the game.
Number 20, Daniel Logan.
That will bring up Daniel Logan. Logan had a pair of base hits and drove in 2 runs in 4 at-bats earlier today. That's fouled away. Finlandia did many things right in the first game we covered earlier this afternoon, and they'll need more of the same in this game if they're going to advance and eliminate the Dolphins. And once again, that is fouled back by Geiser. He's quickly in a 2-strike hole. As expected, not as many fans here at the CSI Baseball Complex for the late game. Hopefully they're back at the dorms following us here on CSI Sportsnet.
And we'll see if this night game with these lights can be a factor.
And Carnbach comes up and in, forcing batter Logan to duck out of danger. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Long look in by Carnbach, and the pitch is outside. Count evens up at 2. Carnbach comes set, and the 2-2 is on its way. It's swung on and missed for strike 3, and Daniel Logan goes down swinging. The first punch out for Chris Carnbach, and there are 2 away.
So good job here by Chris Carnbach. Getting a quick 2 outs.
Joey Krug will be the batter, the designated hitter for the Lions.
And we saw Krug take some big hacks in the first game.
He crushed one down the left field line. Might be the most well-hit ball we've seen on the day, and that's saying a lot.
Although I call myself 3 home runs today. 2 no-doubters. That, although foul, probably traveled the furthest.
As the first pitch to Krug is in for a called strike. Well, he had an opportunity in that game to take some big cuts with his team leading, and he certainly made the most of those. One of his base hits turned out to be a slow roller down the third baseline that he beat out on the infield. As the 0-1 pitch misses in the dirt, evening the count at 1. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Base is empty. 2 outs in the top of the first. And the pitch from Carnback hit on the ground through the middle of the diamond for a base hit. So for all the big swings that Joey Krug has taken on the day, he's had some slowly hit balls find open real estate. One that remained on the infield, and that one through the middle. And the Lions have a 2-out base runner.
Yeah, and this is that time in the tournament where pitching is really winded down and used, and Dolphins are going to need Chris Kornbach to come up huge here today.
Devontae Fleming is the batter. Fleming 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored against Baruch earlier in the day. And he takes a called strike.
And Chris Kornbach, not unfamiliar with the call here in a clutch situation, needing a good performance, needing a win to stay alive. And last year, pitching game number 2 for us in the championship game and pitched a gem, so he's used to it.
Dolphins certainly could use a big performance from Carnbach. He retired the first 2 men to face him here in the first inning. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And a big cut there by Fleming. He fouls it straight back. He remains behind in the count 0-2. Here comes another 0-2 pitch in on the hands, and that one nearly hit Fleming. Didn't move much. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and another big swing and a miss by Fleming. He's down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, so Chris Carnbach surrenders a 2-out base hit, but nothing more. He strands that runner over at first base, and heading into the bottom half of the first, no score between the Dolphins and Lions. CSI gets their first turn at bat when we come back.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. No score between the Dolphins and Lions heading into the bottom half of the first inning. Lineup for CSI in game number 2, very similar to the lineup for Game 1 with one big change. See if you can spot it. Down around the bottom of the batting order, really everyone moves up one spot except for Jet Navertney, and catching in place of Sean Becker is Sal Russo. Becker hurt his hand in game number 1 and is not in the lineup here in game number 2. And there's a look at the full lineup for the College of Staten Island, and you'll see Russo batting 8th for CSI with no Sean Becker available in this game. We don't know that he will not come in at all, but certainly not starting this game, as it's Sal Russo who gets the nod catching. Once again, Jordan Wilson batting leadoff for the Dolphins, as has been the case all season long, and he takes a called strike 2. We mentioned it quickly before. It's Nick Geiser on the mound for the Lions, as his 0-2 pitch misses up high, and I'll have the numbers on Geiser following this at bat. And Wilson looks at ball 2. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 to Wilson, and that's popped up on the infield in foul territory, and circling that ball and ultimately making the catch is Loya for the first out.
The third baseman, number 39, Anthony DeMarco.
That will bring up Anthony DeMarco. Base is empty, 1 out, and DeMarco looks at ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and DeMarco pops one up on the right side of the infield. This one drifting toward foul territory. It stays fair, and this time it's the second baseman, Brian Doyle, who makes the catch for the second out.
So back-to-back pop-ups to start this game for the Dolphins, and that's not how you want to start it, but I thought DeMarco took a pretty good hack there, but regardless, Nick Miola trying to change that here.
A pair of weak outs, certainly not the start the Dolphins were looking for, as you just said. Quickly 2 away in the bottom half of the first, and Nick Miola, the batter, and he gets a hold of one, hits it well out to left field. This one has a chance, and ranging back toward the warning track and making the catch is Brandon Teichman, and I think Miola got under that one just a little bit as he came up short of a solo home run. So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the first. Still no score at the College of Staten Island through 1 inning. The Lions come to bat in the top of the second when we come back.
Mom. Dear.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. No score after 1 inning of play, though Nick Miola did threaten to put the Dolphins up on the scoreboard. It just got underneath that offering from Nick Geiser, and I didn't get the numbers on Geiser as the action moved quickly in that first inning. 3 quick outs for the Dolphins as Chris Carnback returns to the mound for CSI. First man he will face is Gene Pimentel. He swings and misses for strike 1. That's fouled away, and quickly Pimentel is behind 0-2.
And a big hack there from Pimentel. So we'll see if Cornbach goes a little off speed here. ahead in the count 0-2.
Here comes the 2-strike offering, and that's down in the dirt. Good waste pitch. One ball and 2 strikes the count on Pimentel. And the 1-2 is off the outside corner. Some Dolphins fans didn't appreciate that call, but it looked outside from here. And 2-2 also misses away. That runs the count full.
You don't want to lose him here after being ahead in the count.
Well, I'm looking at the pitching numbers for the Lions, and I'm having a tough time finding Nick Geiser, who was listed as the pitcher in this game. That's in for a called strike 3, so Chris Carnback has his 3rd strikeout of the game. It's Gene Pimentel, who gets sent back to the dugout looking. And unless I'm missing something, this is Nick Geiser's first appearance on the mound this season, which would be surprising.
Certainly would be.
So that's hit well out to center field. Wilson coming in on it, and that falls in front of him. So again, just not having a good day reading these fly balls, as getting underneath it was Teichman, and Wilson couldn't get there in time to make the catch. So Teichman's on with a 1-out single.
Yeah, that was a little tough. And Teichman's showing he could swing a little bit too, as he was the hero for the Finlandia in that first game, as he threw an absolute gem on the mound.
We are positioned well right behind home plate, but very low. Our eye level is actually below the top of the netting, as that's rolled over foul by Loya. As I mentioned before, Ben Loya got the start at catcher in today's first game, now playing first base and batting 7th for the Lions. And the 0-1 misses upstairs. So we have all of the correct names in our lineup, but some of the numbers are not correct. That's the word we've received from down the hall. All right, so we have gotten clarification. Nick Geiser has pitched before at the collegiate level, just not this season. As that's it well out to left field. Glenister giving chase. That's going to be over his head, perhaps over the wall, and it is. That is a 2-run homer off the bat of Ben Loya, and the Lions have jumped out to an early 2-0 lead as Loya hit that ball very well to straightaway left field, and it didn't clear the wall by much, but he got enough of it to give his team the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and beautiful piece of hitting, as you said, Joe. And off the bat, I thought it was gone, so I'm not surprised. As he, just the sound of the bat, you heard that. That was a very well hit ball, and regardless, Finlandia up to a 2-0 lead early.
What a day it has been for the Lions of Finlandia University coming in to the CUNYAC Championship. Not many anticipated they would get past day one. They knocked off the Lehman College Lightning, knocked off the Baruch College Bearcats earlier this afternoon, and now out to a 2-0 lead over the College of Staten Island. CSI appear to be well on their way into tomorrow's action unbeaten, leading 5-0 over John Jay, but those who follow that game know how that ended. And it was not well for the Dolphins, and that could be surmised as the Dolphins are playing in this game. And there's another base hit. This time it's Josh Gregory, who is wearing number 2, not number 7. So
that's why I couldn't find it.
That is why you could not find him. It is Josh Gregory. As I just mentioned, we received word from down the hall that some of the numbers are incorrect on our lineup sheet. The names are correct. Well, you have to think, if Nick Geiser hasn't pitched in a collegiate game since last year, the Dolphins should be able to get to him at some point in this outing. If he could be relied upon this season to pitch extensively, I think the Lions would have used him. I mentioned the team ERA of about 8.5, so they needed all the help they could get in terms of pitching. As laying down the bunt is Donahue, and it rolls just foul down the first base line.
And yeah, you said it, Joe. You got to think at some point they'll get to him, and especially it's not like they didn't swing the bats last game. They strung 14 hits, so they'll look to continue to do that.
If you told me the Dolphins scored 22 runs over 2 games on day 1 and 2 of this tournament, I think I would have taken them to be in the final day undefeated. But that's not the case. And now trailing with their season on the line. As Carnback will check on the runner over at first. That's Josh Gregory, who just singled. Owen won the count. That finds the inside corner for a called strike 2. Like we said, Bobby, the Dolphins should get opportunities in this game against a pitcher who hasn't taken the mound yet this year, but Chris Carnback has to keep the Dolphins close in this game. They can't fall behind nearly double digits like they did last game, trailed by 9 runs heading into the late innings. And even a 6 spot in the 8th wasn't enough to draw them within really striking distance in the 9th. They did get down to 3, the deficit down to 3, but that deficit was extended right back to 4 in the 9th. And when you put up a 6 spot, and that's only enough to bring you within 3, you know that you began that inning in a bad position.
You're certainly right, Joe, and that goes to my point before, is that's his first time on the mound, and pitching is extremely short at this time of the tournament, and that just goes to show you right here.
Well, the Dolphins were very close to putting themselves within striking distance. Did not get the tying run to the plate. That's typically my standard for being within striking distance, and the Dolphins never got quite that close, though. They were 1 batter away in the bottom of the 9th, and Sean Napier came on to close the door for John Jay, striking out Jordan Wilson to bring that game to a close. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Austin Donahue. Donahue went hitless in the early game today. He rolls over 1 toward the middle of the diamond. Lozada flips over to Navertney for 1, and relay throw not nearly in time as Donahue is safe over at first.
The second baseman, number 12, Brian Doyle.
Back to the top of the order for the Lions. It's Brian Doyle stepping into the box. Doyle hit one right back to Chris Carnback in the previous inning for the first out of the game. And Bobby, I think we've seen more home runs today of any variety, and we've seen the entire season here on CSI Sportsnet.
Yeah, there certainly has been a lot. 4 altogether, but 3 that left the yard.
I think Jet Navertney hit 1 in the game we covered. Sean Becker hit 1. I think those are the only 2 Dolphin home runs, if I remember correctly. Might be forgetting 1. Either way, that's only 2. If I am forgetting 1, 3. And I'm not sure a visiting player hit a home run in any of the games I covered as well, so definitely not many displays of power here at the CSI Baseball Complex prior to today's action. And we've seen some hitters get a hold of some pitches over the course of 3 games, and some real shots that have just traveled over the wall quicker than any ball I've ever seen travel over the outfield wall here.
Yeah, certainly entertainment for our viewers.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Doyle. And they'll throw behind the runner at first. They have a play there. And just sliding back in safely was Donahue. He got caught leading a bit too far. Sal Russo with a good throw behind the runner.
Yeah, it's a good play by Russo. Might as well take a shot with a big lead like that.
Big lead over at first once again as that's rolled over. Foul. Looks like Donahue was just itching to run over at first base. He had a massive lead on that last pitch. Stayed put. But I wouldn't be surprised if this at-bat is prolonged, if they throw behind him at least 1 more time. Maybe even a pickoff attempt forthcoming. Count remains 1-2. And there's the pickoff attempt, and Donahue's back in there safely. Doyle's still behind in the count, 1-2. And he hits one out toward right field along the line, but foul. As that finds its way into the Lions bullpen. Game 1 got started at 1 p.m. today. It is now 8:45 here on the East Coast. As based on our comments, we have some West Coast viewers tuning in for this one, as that's fouled away. About to check in on the comments section of our live stream, and we have a fan of Gene Pimentel. One and two the count still, and that's lined into center field, falling fast, and Wilson wisely plays it on a hop, and that's a 2-out base hit for Brian Doyle.
Yeah, you don't want to die for that one and then have that ball get all the way to the warning track. So definitely a wise decision there from Jordan Wilson.
Lions have had some good swings against Chris Carnback, and that does not bode well for the Dolphins in this game. If Carnback gets chased early, I think the only place they really have left to turn is Derek Jentz.
Number 20, Daniel Logan.
I thought Jentz would be the starting pitcher in this game, given that he did not pitch in the previous game. It looked as if they were saving him for a start because it looked more and more likely that they would need another starting pitcher today, but Carnback came on in relief earlier and got the start here in the final game of the night, and his first pitch to Daniel Logan is in for a called strike. Oh, and 1 the count, and Logan looks at that pitch low, evening the count at 1. We also have a fan of Chris Carnback in the comments section as well. Definitely need to keep the chat box open more often up here in the booth.
And Chris definitely wants to get this batter as the dangerous Joey Krug is on deck. You don't want him up with the bases loaded.
You're right, Bobby. That's a great point, as we saw what Krug can do in game 1. And he's had some good breaks go his way at the plate as well over the course of the day. Certainly don't want to face him with the bases loaded, as you just mentioned. That's fouled away, but back to the comments section. It's always good to have some assurance that someone out there is listening.
Definitely.
As it's been a long day. We, of course, see the view count, but many of those big fans of the home team and students here on campus following the action, as well as some of our colleagues. Good to see fans of the opposition as well. We don't just do this for the Dolphin faithful, but for any team coming in.
That's right.
To the CSI baseball complex or anywhere else on campus where we hold collegiate matchups. And as we said, it's been a long day, but we certainly enjoy doing this, and we're not done yet. Far from it, actually, as Chris Carnback looks in and gets ready to deliver a 2-2 pitch. And the 2-2 is up and away, and he's run the count full. Runners will get moving on this next pitch. The dangerous Joey Krug looming on deck. Big pitch upcoming for Chris Carnback. And the payoff pitch misses high for ball 4. And Bobby, this is exactly what Carnback wanted to avoid.
Yeah, he puts him in a tough spot here now with the bases loaded. I mean, there is 2 outs, but we know it's our first time seeing Krug, but we know what he could do with the bat.
We certainly do, and in game 1, Krug had a pair of base hits. Nearly had a home run to go along with that pair of hits. And the Dolphins will confer on the mound. Lions will also hold the conference over at third base. And if you're the Lions, you can't ask for a better situation right now. Bases loaded, nowhere to put Joey Krug. Your team is already in the lead, 2-0, and the Dolphins really don't have much behind Chris Carnback out in the bullpen. I'm not sure where they would turn, if not Derek Jentz at this point, but we expect that Jentz might start this game, so we'll see if he gets in later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if and when they will turn to the bullpen and who. So we will see.
They need pitchers for tomorrow should they make it that far. This game's certainly not out of hand. It's only a 2-0 game. And despite Chris Carnback's struggles in this inning, he's only surrendered 2 runs that came home on the Ben Loya 2-run shot over the left field wall. Joey Krug in a spot to do some damage here. And he hits one out deep to left field, but well foul. He was out in front of it. And not hit as well as I initially thought, but still well-struck ball.
Yeah, still driven out to deep. Although foul.
I think he was looking for a fastball there, Bob. He was out in front. Oh, we appreciate that. Christina Marie's been tuned in all day. Hashtag Fear the Fin. So thank you, Christina Marie, for that dedication. We certainly appreciate it. Oh, 0-2 the count on Krug, so Carnback 1 strike away from picking up a huge third out. Here's the pitch. And that gets through Sal Russo to the backstop. In comes Donahue with the 3rd Lions run, and that looks a lot like what we saw in the previous game. Chris Carnback on the mound, so close to recording a huge third out, and then a pitch that goes to the backstop brings home a run, and that is incredibly demoralizing for us as Dolphins fans watching this game and calling this action. But if you're a Dolphins player, how much does that affect you, Bobby?
Yeah, that's certainly a killer and certainly frustrating, especially if you're head coach Mike Morrow. That's the last thing you want to see, especially in an 0-2 count. For a ball to get past and the runs to scored that way is just definitely demoralizing.
On an 0-2 waste pitch, you don't expect to see the catcher unprepared to make the block. And I'm not saying that Russo wasn't prepared, but perhaps that pitch bounced well short as the count on the scoreboard is wrong. It reads 1-2. The count certainly 2-2. Yeah. I'm pretty sure a ball that travels to the backstop qualifies as a ball. The home plate umpire still doesn't know that we're not operating the scoreboard.
We could if we would.
They get that sorted out. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And he gets a hold of one to left field, does Krug, and that is over the wall, just inside the foul pole. A 3-run homer off the bat of Joey Krug. He just missed one earlier, did not miss there, just tucked it inside of the foul pole. And the Dolphins are now down 6 runs in the top half of the 2nd inning. The Lions have come in and shocked the spectators here at the CSI Baseball Complex, winning their game earlier today and now jumping out to a 6-0 lead over the home team, the College of Staten Island.
Yeah, and they certainly are. And it was honestly, it was only a matter of time for Joey Krug to get a home run here today with the swings he's been putting on and all those loud foul balls that he's hit down the left field line. It was certainly time since we've seen that, and that was just a matter if it was fair or foul, and good for Finlandia, that was fair.
You're absolutely right, Bobby. My voice is beginning to go hoarse after that home run call, but it was only a matter of time before Krug put one over the wall. You're absolutely right, as he's had some loud foul balls in this game. And is that Ralph's Italian Ice moving up toward the booth? I mean, are they passing it around down there? Well, now I'm envious of everyone who's outside of the press boxes. I think they're passing some Ralph's Italian Ice around, and I have to say that's a bit disappointing as no one takes care of us. I could certainly use the ice as I'm beginning to lose my voice up here, and I'll have to take it easy moving forward. But if the Dolphins were to begin a comeback, I'm not sure that's going to be an option, and a comeback will be necessary as the Dolphins trail 6-0 heading into the bottom half of the 2nd inning. CSI comes to bat in their half of inning number 2 when we come back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you.
And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins certainly have to be disappointed with the way this game's gotten started. The Lions bat around in their half of the second. Dolphins now trailing this game 6-0. But, Bobby, I think just disappointing for us is that we were not brought any Italian ice.
It's certainly a disappointment.
As I lose my voice up here. Yeah, Rainbow's good as John Tardy comes up with the save. And we
The
appreciate
savior,
that.
John Tardy.
Our men's soccer coach will treat Bobby and I to some Italian ice. And we'll be enjoying that during the next break. So we do ultimately get taken care of as that's hit well out to left center field. And that one is in the gap and all the way to the wall. Frank Muzio will pull into second base standing with a leadoff double. And, well, good things for us. Ice on the way, and the Dolphins hopefully on their way to a comeback.
Yeah, and I talked to Frank Muzio after the first game, and he was a little disappointed that some of his, or at least one of his at-bats, he flew out to deep left. He really wanted to drop, so I'm glad to see that one drop as he drilled that one to left center field.
I have to say I've received a little bit of an extra push as my voice begins to go on me, knowing that there's some ice on the way. And Glenn Glenister will be the batter. Dolphins hoping some more scoring is on the way for them. They scored 11 in their first game today. It was not enough, and Glenn Glenister takes a pitch up and in for ball one, had to move out of the way. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's down in the dirt for ball two, and I think it's something we should make note of. The Dolphins certainly have not given away any at-bats in these games and did not throw in the towel when they fell behind in game one, and there's no reason to believe they'll do so here in this game, especially now with their season on the line. As Glenister fouls that one back.
That's a good hack there from Glenister. I think he wants that one back as he felt he could do some damage with that. But you're right, and also on the Finlandian side, as we said, their bats are extremely woken today, and they continue that here in this game.
So it's fair to say they're woke, Bobby?
Well, yeah, I didn't mean it like that. I know that's that term nowadays,
Yeah.
but you know what I meant.
Not a fan, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it like that.
As I'm the one who brought it up, not you. I'm partially ashamed of myself. That's at the forefront of my mind.
The bats are awake, I should have said. They certainly are.
As Glenister skies one out to left center field. And getting underneath it to make the catch is Teichman for the first out. That will bring up Anthony Lozada.
The second baseman, number 11, Anthony Lozada.
Oh, here they are. Thank you.
So Rainbow and Chocolate Ice delivered up to the booth, and I made that quick swap. The chocolate was placed in front of me.
I thought you wanted the chocolate.
No, I said Rainbow.
Oh, all right. All right. Hey, listen, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I've perhaps spoken more today than on any given day in my life. So.
And you had to battle through those allergies in the second game.
Yeah, I
Credit
thought,
to you.
I thought I was on the losing end, but looks like I've come through with the victory in that fight. As Anthony Lozada takes a called strike one. And I better get to this as this ice is already about 2/3 of the way melted. That will have to wait. As the 2-1 to Lozada is lined into right center field, and that should score the first Dolphins run of the game. Rounding third and into score standing is Frank Muzio. Credit an RBI single to Anthony Lozada. Dolphins pull to within 5. Our score, Lions 6. Dolphins 1.
And that's exactly what you needed for the Dolphins. Yes, you are down 6-0, but you have to chip away. And there's no better time to start than now. So Anthony Lozada doing a good job there of driving in that first run for the Dolphins.
If there's anything we've learned from this action today is that there's plenty of time left in this game for more runs to be scored. We've seen a lot of scoring thus far, and there's reason to believe we'll see a lot more. Designated hitter John Pomerico is the batter. As we have some more comments, some admiration of Joey Krug's home run. That was certainly a shot. And
certainly was.
those who don't follow a lot of our broadcasts don't realize, after watching today's games, how rare home runs are here. We don't see many home runs over the course of a year.
No. It's a little tough to put it out here at the CSI Sports Baseball Complex.
Bobby wasting no time getting to his Italian ice.
Yeah, no.
As the 2-0 pitch misses inside to Pomerico. He's ahead in the count 3-0. And the Lions certainly have people noticing here at the CSI Baseball Complex today. They've played very well. An impressive effort in their first game, and now out to a 5-run lead over the Dolphins. The CSI, not a team that has backed down from a deficit regardless of how large. We saw them trailing by 9 runs in their early game and got back to within 3. A lot more baseball to be played. Here comes the 3-1, and Pomerico takes ball 4. That was some bat flip toward the on-deck circle.
Yeah, Pomerico just pimped a walk there, so that's fine though. But if you're the Dolphins, you're going to need to keep it at 6-1 because you're going to assume they're going to score some runs and fight their way back in this game. Just have to keep this deficit at 5.
If I'm a betting man, I would say that 6 runs won't be enough for the Lions in this game, but that's based on what I've seen from this Dolphins team all season and what I've seen throughout the weekend. And in 2 days now, and 4+ games worth of coverage, by the end of the night, it will be 5 games worth of coverage. I'm sure I will have seen a lot of scoring. I've already seen a lot, and I'm sure I'll see more as that's hit softly on the ground to the left side. Could be 2, and the throw skips away through Doyle at second base. A poor throw there by Devontae Fleming. 1 run comes in to score, and Russo aggressively taking second base. He slides in safely. Holding at third was John Pomerico, and all of a sudden the Dolphins are back to within 4 runs. 2 more runners in scoring position, and Jet Navertney coming to bat.
And that'll certainly be an E5, but the Dolphins will take it. And it's 6-2 here. And a base hit could make it 6-4.
So much fight in this Dolphins team. You have to be impressed with them as well. Finlandia's come in. They've done a lot of good things here at the CSI Baseball Complex today, but the Dolphins have shown absolutely no give in the 2 games that they've played. Jumped out to a big 5-run lead early against John Jay. Fell behind 9-5. Eventually 14-5 and battled back in that game. And after entering the bottom half of the second, trailing 6-0, Dolphins have answered back with 2 runs and pulled to within 4. Looking for more as the corners are about halfway in for the Lions here. And that should go down as a sacrifice fly. Navertney hits one out to fairly deep right field, and coming home is Pomerico. And he was really booking it for the plate there, Bobby, but is in standing with the 3rd Dolphins run.
So good job there by Jet with the sacrifice fly. And already 3 runs here in this half of the inning, cutting the deficit to 3.
Well, that's very interesting. There's a commenter by the name of Brian Doyle. Someone's on Brian's YouTube account who's commented on the feed. Brian, of course, out in the field over at second base for the Lions.
That's impressive if it's him.
If
we didn't even notice.
Yeah, that's some good sleight of hand by Doyle out there in the field if he was able to pull that one off, but I doubt that was the case. As Jordan Wilson pops one up in foul territory, unable to get there was Loya over at first base. Donahue also gave chase from behind the plate, but it falls in foul territory. Dolphins have cut the Lions' lead in half, and Bobby, we knew we had a long night on our hands, and I think this is going to be a long one as well.
Yeah, I think long is an understatement.
My ice doesn't have much longer to be called ice, as we're at the point of slush.
Slush.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it'll do me much good at the point where I get to it, but Dolphins don't care much about that as they've put 3 runs on the scoreboard and cut the Lions' lead in half. Though if the players do want to go back and watch us call this game, they might need me moving forward.
Certainly. At least we did get taken care of today up in the booth on this long day.
We ate far too well, and big thanks to CUNY for taking care of us all day long. And I think I may have shattered an own record for most slices of pizza in one day. I won't share the number, but it was far too much. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Jordan Wilson, and he hits one on the ground to the right side. Brian Doyle makes the throw over to first to retire Wilson for the 3rd out, but not before the Dolphins cut the Lions' lead in half. They score 3 runs in the inning on only a pair of base hits. A big error committed by the Lions in the inning as well. And heading into the 3rd, our score, Finlandia 6, College of Staten Island 3. More CUNYAC Championship Baseball when we come back.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Struck out looking back in the 2nd.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in.
That as well.
The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
A lot more entertaining for us up here.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
He just took a weird route.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. Story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. Story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable.
After knocking it down.
One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it.
I don't think they're done. The way things have gone for them today and the way this tournament has gone, it has been a wild 2 days of baseball here at the College of Staten Island. The way things have gone, we may have another slugfest on our hands. 2 games where 26 runs have been scored this weekend, and that really is remarkable.
Certainly has been a slugfest.
Way to stroke my ego, Darlene, as if the commercials would stop, they could listen to our wonderful commentating.
Oh, she's...
That is what one of our viewers said.
Okay, yeah, it's off.
The first baseman, number 5.
I'm not sure we can go commercial-free during the CUNYAC tournament, but I think I might need the breaks, honestly. It's been a long day, as Darlene, of course, related to Lions head coach Evan Brandt. I believe she referred to him as son earlier, so Darlene watching her son coach his team through the CUNYAC championship, and he has done a phenomenal job. We mentioned
certainly has
how well his team played in the early game, and a lot of the things they did well really goes back to coaching. Good base running and taking the extra base, and good at bats, moving runners along, executing sacrifice bunts, little things, and making plays in the field as well. Making the routine plays look routine is always important. I didn't promise no commercials. We'll go maybe no more than a 30-second commercial. The viewers are clamoring for no commercials. I'll have to check in down the hall. If we can go commercial free and we get the green light, I'll go commercial free.
Yeah, I'm looking at this chat box and
they love us, Bobby.
We got some company. I'm glad. For those of you that are tuned in, we are glad that you are tuned in and listening, as we fully support and embrace
comments,
your love for the game, and the comments.
Yes. Makes our job a lot more fun. I don't often get to interact with people in the comments section. It's actually the first time I've checked it out during a game. Hopefully I can do it at softball tomorrow. The Wi-Fi at softball is very suspect.
Yeah, it could be, could be a little in and out tomorrow.
Suspect is a generous word, but back to the action as the batter is Ben Loya. Runner over at first is Brandon Teichman. And Loya is called out on strikes as he looks at that pitch on the outside corner. So for Chris Carnback, that is strikeout number 4 on the game, and there are 2 away in the Lions' half of the 3rd inning.
The center fielder, number 2, Josh Gregory.
And that'll be
Bobby.
Bobby. Yes.
The commercials were playing over our voices.
Yeah, it was for a little bit.
Well, that's what they were referring
to.
Yeah.
For a quick bit.
For a quick bit?
I fixed that.
How quick?
A batter.
Okay. I hope so.
I caught it. I saw it up here.
I did not, but I'm at the other end of the table looking straight ahead. Josh Gregory is the batter, and he lines one out to right field, and that's right at Nick Miola for the final out of the inning. So Chris Carnback heads back to the dugout. His team still leading by 3 runs despite a base hit in the inning for the Lions. CSI keeps the deficit at 3. College of Staten Island comes to bat in the bottom of the 3rd when we come back.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number 1 goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn.
And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet. Our score 6-3 entering the bottom of the third. Leading off for the Dolphins will be Anthony DeMarco. DeMarco looks at ball one. Well, I do have the stream open on my phone. Obviously no volume, which would, of course, come through the headset. But we hope the commercials run over our voices for more than a batter, as this is typically a three-man crew. Bobby, of course, engineering and on commentaries. That pop-up trouble off the bat, and perhaps, as you mentioned earlier, Bobby, that ball lost in the lights over at shortstop as Gene Pimentel can't make the play, and that's the second pop-up we've seen botched by an infielder on each side. One by Frank Muzio of the Dolphins, and now Gene Pimentel drops that pop-up off the bat of Anthony DeMarco.
Yeah, Joe, and I said it, and we've seen it before. The night games here could be a little troubling for outfielders and infielders with the lights here. So, but a break for the Dolphins here is a man on with no outs.
Well, the Finlandia fans tuning in deserve a shout-out, as I have checked the comment feed following the conclusion of games, and I've never seen this much action in the comments section, so definitely a shout-out to them for their following of their team on the road. If they have it their way, they'll get to follow with CUNY tomorrow, as that's ripped foul by Nick Miola. Miola quickly in a two-strike hole. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that's upstairs for ball one. That's fouled away. Count remains 1-2 on Miola. DeMarco, the runner at first, as the 1-2 pitch is hit out into the air in left field. Shallow. Could be trouble between two lines, and coming on to make the catch out in left field was Teichman for the first out.
The first baseman, number 9.
Yeah, Teichman showing he's not just a pitcher, and each time I hear his name, I just think of that final stat line, 148 pitches. Which
Definitely
is just,
more than I've seen ever.
And he did an outstanding job as well.
One out for Frank Muzio, and he takes up and away for ball one. And the 1-0 pitch misses out of the zone for ball two. Muzio ahead in the count, 2-0. Hits another one out to left center field, and that's down for an extra base hit. DeMarco digging for third. He's being waved home by Mike Morrow. The relay throw to the plate is not in time. In on one hop. It gets to the backstop, and Muzio will take third base on the throw.
That's a good send there by head coach Mike Morrow, reading that relay throw that was pretty much in the air for a while. And Frank Muzio going opposite field twice so far with 2 extra base hits.
Well, the Dolphins continue on their road to completing this comeback. The deficit is now 2. Frank Muzio stands over at third base, only 1 out. And a fly ball could pull the Dolphins to within a run. Glenister 0 for 1. And that fly ball won't get it done, as that one barely clears the infield, and making the over-the-shoulder catch is Brian Doyle.
Yeah, and Glenn's going to want that one back. And we'll see if Lozada can pick him up here.
Glenn didn't get enough of it.
Number 11, Anthony Lozada.
And Anthony Lozada will be the batter. Lozada had an RBI single in his first plate appearance. And he takes a called strike one. And the 0-1 finds the inside corner for strike two. So big pitch upcoming from Nick Geiser. One strike away from limiting the damage to one. That one skips in for a ball. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's fouled back. And for those wanting a pitching change, there is no action in the Lions bullpen. At the very least, this inning belongs to Nick Geiser, and perhaps further than that. As the 1-2, and that pitch just contacted by Lozada. Barely got a piece in on the hands. It rolls to the backstop, foul. Count remains 1-2 strikes. And that's lined to the right side. Fair ball down the right field line, and that will roll all the way into the corner. Lozada turns second. He's heading for third. And the throw is not cut off. That throw well offline, and taking some time to get to that ball in right field was Daniel Logan. That's an RBI triple for Anthony Lozada. The tying run now stands 90 feet away for the College of Staten Island. They now trail 6-5.
Yeah, and Lozada couldn't have placed that ball any better. As down the right field line, that's almost a short triple for anybody. And just a beautiful piece of hitting there. And here we are down a run, the Dolphins are.
Well, this inning got started with an error. And Nick Geiser should have been out of this inning already. The pop-up by Anthony DeMarco, not caught by Gene Pimentel, and that has prolonged this inning to the point where the Dolphins have put 2 runs up on the scoreboard. And the first pitch to John Pomarico is in for a called strike one. Pomarico walked in his first at-bat. Quickly in a 2-strike hole here. Well, Bobby, not only did the Dolphins find their way back, they did so quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
As that's blocked by Donahue.
That's a big block there by Donahue. Would have easily been a tie game if that gotten past him.
No doubt about that. 1-2 strikes the count. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's outside, evening the count at 2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that's ripped right into the glove of Devontae Fleming. And they call it the hot corner over there at third base for a reason. A big play by Fleming will keep the Lions in front for now, but the Dolphins move 2 runs closer. Our score was 6-0 heading into the bottom of the second. Through 3, our score now, the Lions 6 and the Dolphins 5. More CUNYAC Championship Baseball when we come back.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What?
We're back, and it's Daniel Logan to lead off for the Lions in the top of the 4th inning as he takes a called strike 1. Logan officially 0 for 1, struck out in the first, walked in the second. Here's the 0-1 from Karn back, and that's in for a called strike 2. Good breaking ball. Logan quickly in a 2-strike hole. As the 0-2 pitch misses well outside. Dave Pizzuto's made his way into the comments section as well, sending another thank you to the Finlandia faithful following our broadcast. That's chopped on the ground into the glove of Karnback, and a nonchalant underhand toss over to first base retires Logan for the first out. Dave Pizzuto is, of course, the mind behind our entire operation.
Certainly is.
Bobby and I just carrying out his vision here on CSI Sportsnet. But this is all Dave, this setup, all of the equipment and the pregame work that goes into making these broadcasts possible.
Yeah, certainly a shout out to Dave Pizzuto.
Yeah, we don't have to go far to give him a shout out. He's about 15 feet away down the hall.
From a literal standpoint, that is true.
And he's been there all day long with us here at the CSI Baseball Complex, and all of us will be back tomorrow as well covering CSI softball. As that's hit well out to left field. Glenister giving chase to the left center field gap, and it's over his head. That ball rolls all the way out to the wall. Favorable bounce off the wall for Glenister. Gets the ball in quickly, but not soon enough as the runner is...
Daniel Logan.
Oh, he's giving up his equipment. I saw him heading back to the dugout. I wasn't sure what was going on there. Well, I think the incorrect batter was announced into the, the incorrect batter was announced into the game to open up the inning. Daniel Logan was announced as the leadoff hitter. That was Austin Donahue.
Yeah, Daniel Logan's up now.
So that's a good point. Last time I don't refer to my scorecard. Something was clearly wrong when Brian Doyle was running to second base, and Daniel Logan is the man leading off the inning. So the batter now is Daniel Logan. He hits one on the ground over to short. Vertney's got it, and his throw's in time. Thinking about third for a moment was Brian Doyle, but he holds at second.
A good strong throw there from the Vertney. So there's 2 outs here. And that'll bring up the dangerous Joey Krug, who we saw go deep last at bat, just hooking around that foul pole.
Well, first base is open.
That's a very good point.
I'd be surprised if he got a pitch to hit here. Krug with the big blow in this game. Homered back in the second. That home run, a 3-run shot. He's 2 for 2 at the plate. Also singled in his first at bat, which came in the first. He's ahead in the count, 2-0 here. Looked like he got a pitch to hit. That one's it out to shallow center. Wilson giving chase, coming on and makes the sliding catch.
And even his outs are loud.
That grab by Jordan Wilson saves a run as Joey Krug nearly had his 4th run batted in of the game, but as it stands, the Lions' lead remains 1. College of Staten Island will look to complete the comeback in the bottom half of the 4th. Didn't think I'd be saying that here in this game. More CUNYAC Championship Baseball when we come back.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Go to getschool.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them It
will be Sal Russo looking to get things started for the Dolphins in their half of the fourth inning. CSI has cut the Lions' lead to 1. For those who will be hoping to watch Finlandia play again tomorrow, CUNY will be handling that broadcast on the, I believe it's the CUNY Facebook page. I'll double check that and confirm before we go off the air whether the Lions are to move on or not, as that's hit over to third base and to throw on to first in time to retire Sal Russo for a quick out number 1. But that was the case last year, and I believe that's the case again this year. Facebook Live on the CUNY Athletic Conference Facebook page. There'll be full coverage of tomorrow's championship round. The John Jay College Bloodhounds have already punched their ticket into the CUNYAC Championship Finals. They will face either the College of Staten Island or Finlandia University. And Jet Navertney takes out of the zone for ball 1.
And we have another bowl game here for our final game of this triple header, as it's a 6-5 game.
That's it high in the air. In shallow left center, 3 Lions converging. And making the catch is Gregory from out in center field for the second out.
So 2 quickly here away for Finlandia.
Jordan Wilson.
Jordan Wilson will be the batter. Wilson 0 for 2 in this game. Wilson certainly a candidate to get things started with 2 outs for the Dolphins. Great speed. And he looks at a called strike on the outside corner.
And that's why it's important for either him or Jet Navertney to get on, because those next couple guys in the lineup could definitely put one out.
That's it softly on the ground, right side. And initially bobbled by the first baseman, Loya, but he's able to recover in time, and the call at first base is out as Wilson is retired on the 3-1 putout. So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in their half of the fourth, and the Lions maintain their 1-run lead heading into inning number 5. Our score, Finlandia 6, College of Staten Island 5. We'll be right back with the 5th inning here on CSI Sportsnet.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Good.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go. And And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. 6-5 our score entering the 5th inning. Lions over the Dolphins. And it will be Devontae Fleming leading things off for Finlandia in their half of inning number 5. Lions put up a 6 spot in the 2nd. Haven't scored since. Dolphins answered with 3 in the bottom half of the 2nd, 2 more in the bottom of the 3rd, but Finlandia clinging to a 1-run lead and looking to build on that.
And between this game and the other game that Finlandia was in, I've really been impressed with the way they swing the bats today.
It's really unbelievable. Again, I always talk about the eye test, and you cringe as that foul ball heads toward your car, but you talk about the eye test versus the numbers, and we didn't get a look at Finlandia prior to today's games, and looking at the numbers, we weren't sure how they'd get it done at the plate or on the mound. The numbers were not good, but they have far exceeded expectations in this tournament and today throughout the day as Devontae Fleming goes down on strikes. He looks at a called strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning.
Number 3, Gene Pimentel.
That will bring Gene Pimentel to the plate. Pimentel 1 for 2 in this game. He was ultimately erased on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd inning when he singled, struck out looking in the 2nd, and swings and misses at the first pitch he sees here for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and a second swing and a miss by Pimentel. He's in a 2-strike hole.
But you're right on that note, Joe. If you told me their numbers after the game that we watched, I wouldn't have believed you. So I don't know what it is. Maybe their bats are coming alive at the right time, but good for Finlandia.
That's 3 straight swings and misses by Gene Pimentel. He's down on strikes. Looked really off balance on those last 2 swings. And that's the 2nd out of the inning.
The left fielder, number 17, Brendan Teichman.
Chris Carnback also deserves a lot of credit. Bouncing back from a rough 2nd inning. Really took a beating in that 2nd inning. About a pair of home runs, and Dolphins had nowhere else to turn, but he settled down as that's hit way up in the air, just beyond the infield. Navertney ranging back, and he makes the catch for the 3rd out, so that's a pair of 1, 2, 3 half innings back-to-back. That might be the first time that's happened all day.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it is, Joe.
Easily the 2 quickest innings of this game, and after the Lions go down 1, 2, 3, it will be the Dolphins coming to bat, still trailing by a run in the bottom half of the 3rd. Our score, Finlandia 6, College of Staten Island 5. We'll be right back.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number 1 goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
And we are halfway home here at the CSI Baseball Complex. 4.5 innings in the books. College of Staten Island trailing Finlandia University 6-5. Dolphins will get another crack at Nick Geyser, trailing by only a run. Still no action in the Lions bullpen. Looks like this entire game could belong to Nick Geyser. It's still early, but they haven't had anyone up behind Geyser throughout the entirety of this game as DeMarco rips one into the left field corner. That's down for an extra base hit. And that will be a leadoff double for Anthony DeMarco, who slides into second base safely, and Dolphins have the tying run in scoring position.
And DeMarco's fired up there at second base after that leadoff double. And I was going to say, this is a good spot and a good opportunity for the Dolphins to get it going. 2, 3, 4 batters up, and already making some noise after that leadoff double.
Well, it's been brought to my attention this is the first time Finlandia has made the postseason in their history, so I'm picking facts from the live chat as well.
Oh, wow.
They've given a good accounting of themselves over the last couple of days. Of course, we didn't cover them yesterday, though. We were surprised to find that they won in their first game over the Lightning, sending Lehman home, and Lehman, a team that defeated the College of Staten Island 20-5. I believe that was about a week ago, so huge win for Lehman over the Dolphins as Miola pops out to short, but
and head coach Mike Morrow not happy with that one.
I'm not sure there is any coach who would be happy with that one, as that was a surprising result. We were covering softball at the time, and that deficit in that game for the Dolphins just kept growing and growing, and that was one game where the Dolphins really found themselves in a tremendous hole, even one they couldn't dig themselves out of. And we've seen them put together some big comebacks, especially over the last 3 years. As that's ripped into center field by Muzio for a base hit. That's his third straight base hit. Coming around to score the tying run is DeMarco, and sliding into second base safely is Frank Muzio, and the College of Staten Island has come all the way back to tie this game at 6.
And Frank Muzio has been hitting the ball extremely well here today. I believe that's his third double, and he's on point. And as I said earlier, as both of us said earlier, they're going to need him, and he's shown up big here today.
That is indeed Muzio's third double of the game. So John Pomerico set a team record with doubles earlier in the season against the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and Glenn Glenister looks at a called strike 1. Glenister 0 for 2 in this game. Looking to give the Dolphins the lead with a base hit as Geyser misses down and away to even the count at 1. I said it back in the second inning, Bobby. 6 probably would not be enough, and Dolphins have proven me correct on that front.
Yeah, we had a feeling that wasn't going to be enough with the way teams have been swinging the bats here today, and especially the Dolphins in that prior game, which they lost to John Jay, but they did have 14 hits in the ballgame.
It's been a weekend with many runs scored as Glenister pops one up. Foul territory and off the top of the Lions' dugout. So Glenister stays alive. The count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think the biggest obstacle right now for the Lions is that I'm not sure how much pitching depth they have left. I have to go back and look at the games they've played, see how many arms they've used, but still no one up in the bullpen. And the Dolphins have hit Geyser pretty hard since the second inning. He's working here in the 5th as Glenister takes inside for ball 3. Against Lehman, Finlandia used 1 pitcher, and Bobby, you would never guess who it was, and I think that gives you a hint.
The second baseman,
Who was it?
It was Joey Krug, who went
Wow.
complete game against Lehman, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits. Only 2 of those runs were earned. He walked 8 and struck out 7. No pitch count, but he went the distance for the Lions in that game on the mound as Glenn Glenister draws the walk on that last 3-2 pitch.
And that certainly is impressive as he does it all for Finlandia.
Clearly that is the case. And against John Jay later that same day, a defeat at the hands of the Bloodhounds. Finlandia used 4 pitchers. So in total so far in this tournament, 5 pitchers yesterday, another pair of pitchers today, and they've used 7. So I'm not sure how many more they have left. You would think a couple of those relievers who pitched yesterday would be available tomorrow, if not all of them. 4 pitchers combined to finish the game against John Jay. None of those pitchers threw over 2 2/3 innings as Anthony Lozada is ahead in the count 3-0 here, and Geyser is 1 ball away from loading the bases, and Lozada takes a called strike 1. Muzio, the runner, on second. Glenister over at first, and Lozada hits one slowly toward the middle, stepping on second, and then making the relay throw over to first in time is Pimentel. And the side is retired, but not before the Dolphins get even. They put up a run in the bottom half of the 5th, and We are tied at 6, entering inning number 6. When we come back, Lions get a chance to take the lead in their half of the 6th inning.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it. Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United...
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules. You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoe box under the bed. Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You ask them to follow some safety.
Top of the 6th inning about to get started from the CSI Baseball Complex on this CUNY Championship weekend. Day 2 of the CUNY Baseball Championship drawing closer to an end, but we have a tie game on our hands. Lions and Dolphins knotted up at 6. Lions haven't scored since the 2nd inning. Chris Carnback has really settled down since then. Get a check on his pitch count.
And Loya, 1 of 2 home runs today in this game for Finlandia.
And working against Ben Loya, Chris Carnback comes into the inning having thrown 90 pitches. So I'm not sure how much longer the Dolphins can push him in this game. Maybe another inning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
2 at most.
Of course, short-staffed at this point in the tournament, as we keep saying.
If he could get them to the 8th, at least start the 8th, that would be exceptional, given where he is right now. And where he is now is ahead in the count on Ben Loya, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But it's been a nice bounce-back effort for Carnback since that 2nd inning. That was a tough inning for him.
Yeah, he's certainly done well here after that.
5 base hits surrendered in that inning, including a pair of home runs. Count even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ben Loya. As Carnback comes set to deliver the 2-2 pitch. That's it softly on the ground to short, and it just gets by Jet Navertney. A slowly hit ground ball, a routine play, and I'm not sure what happened. They look like the ball may have changed direction on him suddenly, but other than that, I can't see any other explanation for that error.
Yeah, that just looked a little bit funky from up here.
It did look like that ball had some spin on it at the last moment. May have taken a funky hop on Navertney, but it's been a miserable day in the field for Jet. I think that's error number 5 for him over the 2 games the Dolphins have played. It's been a tough go of it for him.
And hopefully the ball can find him here, and he'll turn 2 and then forget about it.
Corner coming in on the left side. That's Anthony DeMarco over at 3rd base. Josh Gregory was not showing bunt. Here's the 0-1, and that's up and away, evening the count at 1. That error, the 2nd of the game for CSI. 2 on the board for Finlandia as well. And the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. That pitch down in the dirt. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's swung on and missed for strike 3 as Josh Gregory goes down swinging for the first out. A big first out for Chris Carnback.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's definitely a big out, a big first out for Chris Carnback after the initial error.
Austin Donahue will be the batter. He's doing the catching for the Lions in this game. And he fouls back the first pitch he sees. At times, catchers may be underappreciated, and certainly not the case up here in the booth today, as a lot of these catchers have really had to work hard to block so many pitches that have wound up skipping in the dirt on their way to the plate. That 0-1 pitch is just off the inside corner, but we saw Chris Carnback earlier in this game have one get by Sal Russo. That cost the Dolphins 1 run, and then in the last game, an extra insurance run came home for the Bloodhounds on a ball that got by Sean Becker, and doesn't look like Becker is available for this game. Not in the lineup following game 1.
And of course, as a catcher, you're always going to need to drop down and block any balls in the dirt, but especially here at CSI baseball complexes, there's a big backstop.
Very spacious behind home plate. That's popped up in the air, foul, and into the seats. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning for the Lions. Finlandia and CSI tied at 6. The 1-2 pitch coming. That's popped up and foul over the backstop. Not by much, but just enough to keep Donahue alive and in the at-bat.
And running out of room there was Sal Russo, making good effort, though, towards that ball. And still a pretty decent crowd here, Joe, for a late game in our triple-header. Definitely not as big as the first couple, though.
Definitely not. Though I find the weather much better at this point, as that's an ugly swing and a miss by Donahue. That was a tomahawk chop at that pitch up around his eyes, and he strikes out swinging for out number 2.
So back-to-back strikeouts from Chris Kornbach. And a very big spot and a crucial part of this ballgame.
Back to the top of the order, it's Brian Doyle. Doyle with a pair of base hits in this game, a single back in the second. He doubled in the 4th. And that pitch forces Doyle to back off the plate a bit. Back behind Doyle 0-1. 1-0, excuse me. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's lined into straightaway center. Wilson fields and will throw into Jet Navertney. Holding at second is Loya. And on with a 2-out single is Brian Doyle.
And Doyle's been very good here for this Lions team today, as he continues to hit. That's his 3rd hit of the ballgame.
Well, coming in, we knew that he was one of the bigger threats in this batting order for Finlandia, based solely on the numbers, which again is all we had to go by coming into today's action. Doyle hitting at .257, second on the team for Finlandia, of course. Joey Krug, the leading hitter, at .313. And I mentioned Krug's home run numbers earlier. Only a pair of home runs this far in the season for Krug, but has demonstrated tremendous power today. Easily could have had a pair. Does have 1 home run on the stat sheet. Came back in the 2nd inning.
And again, Joe, seems like almost a repeat, but Chris definitely looking to get this guy with Krug on deck. Almost a very similar situation as, I believe, inning number 2.
Well, this is how inning number 2 got away from Chris Carnback. Facing Daniel Logan with 2 men on. He issued the walk, and that loaded the bases, or I should say, actually, on the official stats, it had Krug with 3 RBIs, which can't be right.
Oh, the pass ball, and then he hit the 3-run homer.
You're right. You're right, Bobby. Good call, as that's popped up on the infield. DeMarco with a chance to bring this inning to a close, and he can't make the catch.
That would have been big out. But a nice effort from Anthony DeMarco over there at 3rd base.
That's great recollection, Bobby, as I had my scorecard right in front of me with that written down and still didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's been a long day.
It certainly has. No, but I remember, as we were saying, that'll drive a coach nuts on a pass ball like that with 2 outs. So what would have been a grand slam for Krug turned into a 3-run homer.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch once again, and that's ripped out toward right center field into the gap for an extra base hit. 1 run will come in to score. A 2nd run will come in right behind it. And standing at second with a 2-out, 2 RBI double is Daniel Logan, and the Lions have regained the lead. Our score, Finlandia 8, CSI 6.
And I mean, I hate to say the obvious here, but that is a big hit and a big 2-run double there by Logan as they take an 8-6 lead.
So Loya scores the second run from second base, and coming all the way around from first base to score the 8th run was Brian Doyle.
And that'll be all for Chris Kornbach.
I wasn't even aware that there was action in the Dolphins bullpen.
I believe it's Gents.
That must have been on short notice that Derek Gents got up, assuming it is him. And it is indeed Derek Gents, so we'll step aside for just a minute and take a break as Chris Kornbach departs for the Dolphins. He is still responsible for the runner over at second base, and the Lions have retaken the lead. Our score, Finlandia 8, CSI 6. The Lions will look to add to their 2-run lead when we come back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America in your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it?
Derek Gents takes the mound for the Dolphins, and a tall task stands in front of him, trying to retire Joey Krug, but once again, first base is open. However, on a 2-0 count, in his last at-bat, Krug got a pitch to hit from Chris Kornbach and skied out to center field for the final out of that inning. That occurred back in the 4th. Base hit here would likely give the Lions a 3-run lead as Krug looks at a called strike 2.
Yeah, you almost have to look to work that outer half of the plate with Krug up, because we know he could do damage on the inner half.
Make that a called strike 1, evening the count at 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and Krug rips one over to short, backhanded by Navertny. His throw right on the money for the final out of the inning, but not before Finlandia adds 2 runs and retakes the lead from the College of Staten Island, or I should say breaks the tie, as Finlandia now has an 8-6 lead over the Dolphins, and CSI will look for an answer when we come back in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons. Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
John Pomerico will lead things off for the Dolphins in the bottom half of the 6th inning. CSI looking to keep their season alive with a victory over the Lions of Finlandia University. And after falling behind 6-0, CSI scored 6 unanswered runs, but the Lions respond with 2 of their own in the top half of the 6th. And they regain the lead by a score of 8-6. Our small scoreboard malfunctioning once again. Somehow the large scoreboard maintaining the correct score and the small scoreboard is not. So we'll have to go without a scoreboard for at least 1/2 inning. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike on John Pomerico. And Pomerico skies 1 foul off the roof above our heads, and fans eagerly awaiting for that ball to roll back down into the seats. I'm not sure it did. And fallen behind us as that evens the count at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch misses for ball 3. Here comes the payoff pitch. That's fouled away. Count full on John Pomerico. Big pitch upcoming for Nick Geiser. That's topped foul over the tarp and under the bleachers. Don't envy whoever has to chase that ball. So I'm not sure we have ball chasers here during CUNY championships. I saw a big shipment of baseballs arriving earlier, so I think that one is lost. Here comes another 3-2 pitch. That's up above the helmet, forcing Pomerico to duck out of the way, but more importantly, that is ball 4, and the Dolphins have the leadoff man on.
Yeah, it's a big start to this inning for the Dolphins, as there's no action in the bullpen for the Lions.
We'll get another pitch count on Nick Geiser in just a moment, as well as a final line on Chris Carnback. The pitch count on Geiser is 87 as Sal Russo shows bunt, throw behind the runner at first, and Pomerico back in standing. Want to know the count on Sal Russo. In at third is Fleming, anticipating a bunt, and Russo pops up that bunt foul. Wisely looking to bunt to the right side. Count even at 1-1. Here comes the pitch from Geiser, and once again Russo squares, pull back, and once again a throw behind the runner over at first. Pomerico back in standing once again. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Geiser glances over his shoulder at Pomerico over at first and delivers the 2-1. That pitch misses away, and you certainly don't want to walk a hitter trying to give himself up at the plate.
Yeah, certainly not.
Geiser 1 pitch away from doing just that here. Russo represents the tying run at the plate. He barely got a piece on that bunt attempt. Tried to pull it back. That was ball 4.
Yeah, more than likely that's ball 4. I still want that one back.
Count full once again. This time a full count on Sal Russo. Pomerico holding at first, and Russo draws the walk, and That's back-to-back base on balls issued by Nick Geyser. And the Dolphins have the first 2 men on.
Yeah, fortunate enough there for Sal Russo reaching on base after the failed bunt attempt, as that's always a sign of relief as a hitter.
And immediately after, the Lions put 2 on the scoreboard in the top half. Dolphins threatening in the bottom half. This has been back and forth game. Looked like it was all Lions early. The Dolphins chipped away, got even, and Finlandia then jumped back out in front with a 2 spot at the top of the 6th. Looks like we were on our way to another very entertaining finish, though it certainly didn't appear that way very early in this game after the Dolphins fell behind 6-0. Same could be said for the earlier game the Dolphins played. They were ahead 5-0 and in complete control. As Navertney once again looking to bunt. That one out of the strike zone, evening the count at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that one in on the hands. Navertney lays down the bunt, back out to the mound, and Geyser's throw to first is in time to get the speedy jet Navertney for the first out, but the tying run moves into scoring position.
Yeah, a good job there by Jet Navertney. That's not an easy pitch to bunt.
Certainly not. Way inside. Ran in on him.
But regardless, he got the job done.
Jordan Wilson will be the batter. Base hit here could tie the game once again. Still no action in the bullpen for the Lions. This inning belongs to Nick Geyser. His first pitch to Jordan Wilson is on the outside corner for a called strike 1.
Infield, of course, up for this Lions defense.
And were they not, Wilson very well could lay down a bunt. As the 0-1 misses the outside corner, evening the count at 1. Wilson 0 for 3 in this game. As he pops one up, that will stay in play. And Donahue can't make the catch behind the plate. That is a tough break for Nick Geyser out on the mound and for the Lions. That's a play that has to be made. And the second time we've seen the Lions drop a pop-up. The first one in fair territory. Hit off the glove of Pimentel over at shortstop. And that one off the glove of the catcher, Austin Donahue.
A new life for Jordan Wilson. Speaking of sign of relief, that's probably the biggest relief you can get as a hitter, so we'll see if that'll come back to haunt Finlandia.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Wilson. He gets new life. And that's lined into right field, falling fast and down for a base hit. Sal Russo will hold over at third, and a good hold by Mike Morrow because Russo probably is out at the plate. And the Dolphins now have the tying run 90 feet away, and the go-ahead run over at first in the form of speedy Jordan Wilson.
So now that missed out even bigger, as we said, as Jordan Wilson ultimately comes through with the base hit.
Anthony DeMarco, the batter. DeMarco 1 base hit in 3 at-bats. He shows bunt, and there goes Wilson. Russo making a break for the plate. Falling down is Pimentel. His throw gets by Donahue. Wilson thought about it, but he will hold at third, and a pair of blunders in the inning really proving costly as it looks like there's a man down on the infield. And
yeah, he looks to be shaken up.
That's Brian Doyle. I'm about to get another look at that play on the live stream, but Doyle remains down in a seated position in front of second base.
And just like that, we're back all tied up at 8.
Well, that was my mistake on the call. Doyle cut off that throw to second base. Pimentel was going over to cover second, and I saw that spot at short vacant and figured that it was Pimentel from shortstop who received that throw from home, but it was actually Doyle, and he went down, and the weather has wreaked havoc on the field conditions here at the College of Staten Island all year. We didn't get our first home game in until April 9th. Our regular view was well aware of that fact, but the field was in some really bad shape earlier in the year, and the area just inside the beginning of the dirt on the infield in each corner of the diamond, not in the greatest condition, much better than it was. Those areas were pretty much all dirt early in the season, but that area in front of the dirt, just preceding second base, still has a lot of dirt there, and perhaps that's how Doyle lost his footing, and I'm not sure he had to play at the plate anyway. A perfect throw may not have gotten Russo, but I'll have to look at it again before I make that declaration. We'll see. No way they get Russo at the plate. Perfect throw won't get him.
Yeah, no way. He's one of those fast guys, along with Jet Naverdi and Jordan Wilson in this lineup.
So the Dolphins now even once again. The go-ahead run 90 feet away over at third base. Still only one out. Anthony DeMarco remains the batter. Dolphins with 8 runs on 7 hits in this game. The Lions with 8 runs on 8 hits. Looming large are 4 errors committed by Finlandia in this game as well. The line right now for both teams, Finlandia 8 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors. The Dolphins 8 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors. The action picks back up, and Anthony DeMarco lines one over the outstretched glove of Devontae Fleming over at third base. Jordan Wilson walks on home, and the Dolphins have come all the way back and now taking the lead. Our score 9-8 in favor of CSI.
A huge hit there from DeMarco as he continues to swing the bat well for the Dolphins. And you said it, Joe, a 9-8 lead as this game continues to go back and forth.
The last 2 games have been thoroughly entertaining. We saw the Dolphins attempting to come back earlier in the day against Baruch. As I'm getting an alert on my phone, my New York Mets are attempting a comeback, so I was taking a look at that. As that's ripped into straightaway left field for a base hit. That falls in front of Brandon Teichman. Advancing 1 base over to second is Anthony DeMarco, and Dolphins now, with 3 straight hits in the inning, have 2 men on and 1 out.
And some action in the bullpen for the Lions. Can't quite get a number on who that is.
I think that's long overdue, Bobby. The Dolphins have hit
Yeah.
Geyser hard since really the 2nd inning, and he did a good job of battling, but I think by the time the 6th inning rolled around, CSI was really dialed in at the plate against him. Had seen a lot of what he's throwing and putting some really good swings on the ball. So Geyser now on the short end of this game. Should he come out here? As Frank Muzio takes a big cut at that 1-0 pitch and comes up empty.
And if you're a fan of offensive baseball as opposed to some fans' preferences is pitching, but if you're a fan of offense, today was a good day to come to the ballpark. There have been an insane amount of numbers for hits and runs today.
Got that right, Bobby, as Muzio swings and misses for strike 2. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nick Geyser looking to keep this a 1-run game, 1 pitch away from recording the 2nd out as that skied into foul territory down the left field line, and giving chase was Fleming. He can't get there. Once again, the CUNYAC Baseball Championship will be aired through Facebook Live. Again, I'll receive confirmation later, but I'm almost certain it's the CUNYAC Facebook page. I can actually check that right now, do a brief search following this at bat. One ball and 2 strikes the count. And that misses down and in for ball 2. throw behind the runner over at second after that one missed for ball 3. And I think a video link is actually up for tomorrow's CUNYAC Baseball Championship already. The title of the Facebook page is CUNY Athletic Conference. Facebook.com/CUNY Athletics. As that's lined into right field, down the line for an extra base hit. That will be Frank Muzio's 4th hit of the game, all doubles, as Anthony DeMarco comes home to score the 10th Dolphins run. CSI now leads by 2. Our score, Dolphins 10, Lions 8.
Frank Muzio with his hands out there on second base. Maybe of a gesture of, can anybody get me out at this point? His fourth double of the game.
Dolphins bench was a bit quiet early in this game, and that has changed now as a 4 spot in the bottom half of the 6 has propelled them into the lead. Our score 10-8 in favor of the Dolphins, and we will have a pitching change. And looks like the new pitcher came out of the dugout, but we'll have the new pitcher and his numbers when we come back here on CSI Sportsnet, exclusively at CSIDolphins.com.
Your attention, please.
Mom.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Mom. This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins out in front for the first time in this game. Our score, CSI 10 and Finlandia 8. It has been a slugfest here at the CSI Baseball Complex, and we've been no strangers to such a game. And this is really the third game where both teams have really piled on the runs. One yesterday between Baruch and CCNY, another between John Jay and the Dolphins earlier today, and now Finlandia and CSI going back and forth. As Glenn Glenister hits one softly on the ground to short. Looking the runner back to third is Pimentel, and he throws out Glenister at first for the second out. Not a productive out for Glenister.
No, it's not. I'm sure he wants that one back.
Number 11, Anthony Lozada.
Because now there's 2 away.
Anthony Lozada will be the batter. Anthony Lozada the batter, and that's in the dirt. Miola thought about it for just a moment, took about 2 steps down the third baseline, and wisely holds up. Anthony Lozada has a pair of hits in this game. Looking for number 3 here. That one misses high for ball 2. Count 2-0. The new pitcher for the Lions is Cole Howard. See if I can get the line on Howard in quickly. He comes in having appeared in 5 games this season, all starts. In 5 decisions, he does not have a win. 0-5 on the season. He's pitched to a 22.2 ERA. As that's lined down the right field line, and it is foul.
Just foul.
That would have been 2 runs easily. Muzio was ready around third. Continuing with the numbers for Howard, 0-5 In 5 appearances, all starts, a 22.2 ERA, 15 innings pitched, 40 hits, 40 runs, 37 of those earned. He's walked 15, struck out 12, and allowed 11 extra base hits, including 8 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. 85 batters, hitting .471 against him this season. He did record a big first out, getting Glenn Glenister, at least his first out, recorded out of the bullpen. 2 out in the inning. As that's lined right back through the middle for a base hit. In comes Miola, Muzio right behind him, and Anthony Lozada has his 3rd base hit of the game. CSI has broken this game open. They now lead by 4.
And that's such a big hit there by Anthony Lozada. As you said, his 3rd hit of the game, as they now take a 4-run lead, which is such a difference from a 2-run lead, as we've seen this game flip-flop and go back and forth. So a 4-run cushion is much more breathing room as opposed to 2.
Once CSI is retired in this half inning, we will be in the home stretch, the final third of this game, innings 7, 8, and 9. CSI will look to Derek Gents to take them the rest of the way, and that will leave us with the question of who starts tomorrow for the College of Staten Island, as that's lined right into the netting, and if there's no netting, that's coming right towards you, Bobby.
I would have caught it.
I don't doubt it.
But on your note, that is a good point. It'll be interesting to see if this lead holds up, and if the Dolphins do advance, it'll be interesting to see who's on the mound tomorrow. Could it be Kaplan after throwing a lot of pitches?
It's tough to envision that, but
it is tough, but you know what? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Dolphins may not have much of a choice. That pitch misses to run the count to 2-1. We'll get on that scoreboard issue as soon as this half inning comes to a close. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2. John Pomerico getting his 2nd at-bat of the inning. And he swings and misses at that pitch down in the dirt for strike 3. So Pomerico goes down on strikes, finally bringing the bottom half of the 6th inning to a close. But it's a big 6th inning for the Dolphins. They put up the second 6th spot of this game, won by the Lions earlier. Now the Dolphins with 6 of their own in the bottom of the 6th. Our score, CSI 12, Finlandia 8. Lions will look to respond when we come back.
Hi. May I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
Hi. May I please have an application? Thank you.
Our score. Dolphins over the Lions. And the first pitch of the 7th inning is in for a called strike 1 to Devontae Fleming. Fleming with a couple of strikeouts in this game. Also popped out into foul territory back in the 2nd. And here he chops one toward the middle, and that's through for a base hit. Shortstop Gene Pimentel will be the batter. Pimentel also with a couple of strikeouts in this game, though he did single back in the third. We've seen the Dolphins erase a 6-run deficit in this game as that's bunted down to first. And advancing to second on that bunt attempt will be Pimentel.
The left fielder, number 17, Brandon Teichman.
Brandon Teichman will be the batter. Teichman had a base hit back in the second inning. I'll have the line on Derek Jentz in just a moment for the Dolphins, as that's taken off the outside corner for ball one. Following this next pitch, I'll have the line on Derek Jentz. It's a 1-0 pitch as time was called. Don't think it was granted, and it was not as the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. The line on Derek Jentz this season apparently is not in this folder. Here it is. So we'll have to wait one more pitch for that, as the 2-0 is out of the zone, and Sal Russo did a good job of preventing that ball from going all the way to the backstop, had to stretch across his body. The line on Jentz, in 9 appearances and 7 starts, he's pitched to a 2-2 record and a 4.22 ERA over 32 innings. He's allowed 30 hits, 28 runs, 15 of those earned, has walked 26 and struck out 32. And his 3-0 pitch is in for a called strike one. Also, 128 opposing batters hitting .234 against Derek Jentz this year, so a good batting average against. As that's a half swing, it goes to the backstop. That will be strike 2, but advancing to third is Fleming. A big run stands over at third base for the Lions, looking to work their way back into this game. Ben Loya, who homered earlier in this game, stands on deck. Count is full. That's it sharply on the ground toward the middle, and it's through for a base hit. So the Lions get 1 run back in their half of the 7th. Our score now, the Dolphins 12 and Finlandia 9, following the RBI single off the bat of Brandon Teichman.
And now that 2 RBI base hit by Lozada, even bigger, as it would have been a 10-9 game.
Absolutely right, Bobby. His first pitch misses high to Ben Loya. Mentioned Loya in this game with a home run back in the second. Also reached on an error and came around to score in the 6th. With that swing and a miss, the count evens up at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's up and in for ball 2. With every miss by Derek Jentz, more noise from the Lions dugout. They are into this game. Both the Dolphins and Lions playing with their season on the line. Loser goes home. Winner moves on to the final round of the CUNYAC tournament as that 2-1 pitch is in for a called strike 2.
And the Lions dugout didn't like that call. Although from this angle, it looked like a strike.
Looked good from here. Perhaps they thought it crossed the plate inside. A breaking ball that started in on the hands. Russo sets up inside once again. That's fouled away. It's tough to tell with the batter's box now really faded. You can't really see the left batter's box at all, the right-hand hitting batter's box, but it looked like Loya's right on top of the plate. Perhaps that's just where Russo set up. As Loya chases in the dirt and comes up empty on that swing, and with first base occupied, that is strike 3.
A big strikeout there from Derek Jentz. As there's 2 away, although the scoreboard reads 1. There you go. So 2 away for the Dolphins here.
That will bring Josh Gregory to the plate. Gregory with his lone base hit back in the second. And that gets by Russo to the backstop. Taking the turn at second and thinking about third was Teichman, but he will hold over at second base. That's a huge run over at second base for the Lions. If they could get back to within 2 and leave themselves with 6 outs to play with, I think that goes a long way, especially with the way the Dolphins have piled on runs since the second inning. Dolphins have only been kept off the scoreboard in the first and the fourth.
And for those Yankee fans who are tuned in, that final, the Yankees 7, Indians 6. So the Yankees continue to stay hot.
Well, at least one of the 2 New York baseball teams picked up a win. The Mets came up 1 run short in their comeback attempt. Entered the 9th inning trailing by 4 and lost that game 8-7 as that's grounded up the middle for a base hit. They're waving Teichman home. The throw from Wilson to the plate cut off. And the Lions have pulled to within 2 on their 11th base hit of the game. The second base hit for Josh Gregory, a big one, and our score is now CSI 12, Finlandia 10.
And we've really seen some good games here today, Joe, as this game continues to be up and down and the score being flip-flopped, although CSI still remains with a 2-run lead.
Our long night continues, and both of these teams fighting to see their season continue into tomorrow. One of these teams will see their season come to an end tonight. Austin Donahue, the batter. Donahue hitless in this game. We did reach on a fielder's choice back in the second. Here he's behind in the count 0-1. Gregory, the runner, over at first. Medium-sized lead. He takes off. And that ball down in the dirt. And Russo had no chance to make a throw. Did a good job just to keep it in front of him. And you could tell Gregory was itching to run just by his posture over there at first base.
Yeah, you could certainly tell sometimes, and that was the case just now.
As soon as I looked at him over there, he was very fidgety, getting ready to go. And he now puts himself in scoring position with 2 outs. How big would another 2-out base hit for the Lions be here? And now that 2-run base hit by Lozada is huge. As it stands, that's the difference in the game. And Donahue takes a called strike 2.
So Jent's ahead in the count in his favor, 1-2. Can't give anything too good to hit here.
Big pitch upcoming. Dolphins looking to hold on to a 2-run lead. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's down in the dirt for ball 2.
And a good take there from Donahue. As well, it was a good waste pitch from Derek Jentz, and the count runs even at 2.
As I mentioned before, Donahue looking for his first base hit. The Lions would settle for a base runner to bring, I should say, to put the tying run on base, and that will not happen as Donahue looks at a called strike 3. He knew it. The Lions are finally retired, but not before they add 2 more runs to pull themselves back to within 2. 3 base hits in the inning for Finlandia, 1 left. Our score heading into the bottom half of the 7th, Dolphins 12, Lions 10. CSI comes to bat in their half of inning number 7 when we come back.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly tamed them.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons. Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon.
It will be Sal Russo to lead things off for the College of Staten Island in the bottom of the 7th. Dolphins have seen their 4-run lead knocked back down to 2. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that misses for ball 2.
So Russo defensively has done a pretty good job here backing up Sean Becker, who was unavailable for this game.
We thought maybe we'd see Becker enter later in the game, but that obviously not a possibility, as I'm sure the Dolphins would have turned to him. Russo has reached base twice, once on an error back in the 2nd. He walked in the 6th. Had 3-0 here and draws his second base on balls of the game.
That's called a strike.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that surprised me too. It took me a little while. I thought that was well outside, but
I thought so too. And Russo tossed the bat away.
Maybe that's one of those 3-0, just give me a strike calls, you know?
That's ball 4. I'm not sure there's anyone in the building who realized that was a call strike.
The shortstop, number 2, Jet Navertney.
Well, now I can complete the base on balls on my scorecard. Jet Navertney 0 for 1, showing bunt, as the Dolphins look to play small ball and get one of those runs that they surrendered in the top half back. And with the amount of times they've attempted pickoffs and throws behind the runner over at first.
He's going 3.
And there really wasn't much doubt about that, as that ball sailed into the bullpen. And I was going to say, with the amount of times that Finlandia has thrown behind the runner at first, attempted pickoffs, really trying to control the Dolphins' running game, they've put themselves in a position where the odds dictate that eventually one of those will get away, as is so often the case in these games that we cover. And finally, one gets through over at first base. That's Ben Loya over at first. And, of course, on the mound, Cole Howard attempting the pickoff. And Sal Russo goes first to third. And his ability to really move out there on the base paths has been of great benefit to the Dolphins in this game. That's coming towards us.
As that's Glenn Glenister's dad almost making the play. Hits off his hands.
Not quite.
It looked like he was under it.
Didn't have to move much, that's for sure. Count 1 and 2 on Jet Navertney, and he takes down and away to even the count at 2. Leadoff man Jordan Wilson on deck. And that one is to the backstop. Russo jogs on in, and the Dolphins lead back to 3 as we've seen wild pitches and pass balls play a big role in more than one game today.
Yeah, we certainly have, Joe. You said it. And the second that ball gets by, it's usually about, I'd say, 98, 99% a run every time. Has this big backstop here.
So Russo is in with the 13th Dolphins run, and we very well could have our 3rd game of this championship weekend where the 2 teams combined for 26 runs.
That's remarkable.
I've never seen anything like this. At any level. 3 straight games, or I shouldn't say 3 straight, but 3 of 5 games that we've covered where the 2 teams have combined for at least 26 runs. 19-7, Baruch over CCNY. Dolphins, as Navertney is called out on a pitch that found the inside corner. I was ready to write down base on balls yet again, and
that's down and in.
Navertney can't believe it.
Not many can believe that call.
Well, in defense of the home plate umpire, we can't see home plate. We can't see the left batter's box.
Yeah, it's a little tough from up here.
That batter's box, where the right-handed hitters are standing, is completely gone. There's nothing left of it. And the plate is obstructed by both the umpire and catcher as Jordan Wilson shows bunt and takes a called strike.
Yeah, but on that note, Joe, pitching not really in effect at all today, except for Teichman of Finlandia in that first game. Was really dominant. I think I had a 1-hitter through 7, and then they finally got to him in the 8th. But he pitched phenomenal, and besides that, it's just been hits, and more hits here today.
Teichman gave up 3 runs in the game, 2 base hits. He went the distance and threw 148 pitches, a large number, as we've mentioned already.
Wonder how his arm's feeling at this point.
He's out there in left field.
He'll field tomorrow.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Jordan Wilson. And that's down and away for ball 2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's swung on and missed for strike 3. Jordan Wilson set down on strikes for out number 2, and that will bring Anthony DeMarco to the plate.
The third baseman, number 39.
DeMarco with a pair of base hits in this game. A double in the 5th, and a single in the 6th.
It's certainly a big hit in his last at-bat.
And the first pitch to DeMarco is in for a called strike 1. We approach 10:45 p.m. here at the CSI Baseball Complex.
That's incredible.
I'm not sure we'll be wrapped up until midnight. The broadcast may be over at that point, but a lot goes into breakdown here after each and every game, so we'll be on the premises for at least another 20 or 30 minutes following the conclusion of this game. And then right back at it tomorrow morning with CUNYAC Championship Softball. Dolphins really asserted themselves over Hunter College earlier in the day. As that's it out to shallow left center. And getting underneath it to make the catch is Josh Gregory for the final out of the inning, but not before the Dolphins get one of the 2 runs they surrendered in the top half back in the bottom half of the inning. Our score heading into inning number 8. Dolphins 13, Lions 10. More CUNYAC Championship Baseball when we come back.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids.
And we are back, top half of the 8th inning, about to get underway. Interesting development in this game as Anthony DeMarco came up limping following the final out in the previous half inning. DeMarco wrapped up the bottom half of the 7th with a fly out to center, but on his way to first base, he appeared to tweak his hamstring, and they were working on him just outside of the Dolphins' dugout, and they stretched out that hamstring. He's noticeably limping in the field.
Yeah, that hamstring's been it's been a challenge from the whole year.
If they hit one over to him on the left side and he has to move it all, that could very well spell the end of his night if he can't make the play, as every base runner precious late in the game. And swinging and missing at that 0-1 pitch was Brian Doyle. Doyle actually went down earlier in the game as well on the infield grass just in front of second base. Fortunately, he's able to stay in the game, or was able to stay in the game. And he takes the 0-2 pitch down low. Doyle's been big for Finlandia in this game. Already 3 base hits.
Yeah, he certainly has, Joe. That's why I was going to say I was a little surprised he didn't try to bunt after seeing what DeMarco just went through, but that's because he's been swinging such a hot bat.
That's a good point, Bobby. I'm not sure DeMarco could charge in on the bunt, as we have a shattered windshield.
No.
Yeah, that was some shot. You could hear that from here.
I don't think it was mine. I'm trying to check.
I thought I heard them say it was a Suburban.
Oh, okay.
But
well, I still feel bad, but for now I'm good.
Oh yeah, they're on the phone already. Yeah, that's shattered windshield. That's the first out of the inning.
As the whole entire fan base going to take a look, as I might.
In between innings.
Yeah, we'll go check it out.
You could hear that from here, Bobby. That was some shot that windshield took.
I wonder whose car that is.
Yeah. If I'm attending one of these games, I'm finding a spot somewhere else on campus. I'm just not taking my chances out there. We had a shattered windshield last night.
And another one here right now.
Well, someone, I think that's Glenn's dad, demonstrating with his hands what happened.
I thought it was my. No, I don't got a beaver.
Well, Bobby's muted mic, not doing us any good here as he responds to some of the fans in front of us. But apparently that windshield was reduced to bits and pieces. Some very concerned fans checking out the parking lot, but back to the action as the batter is Daniel Logan. He's behind in the count 1-2. Brian Doyle retired on the 4-3 putout to open up the 8th inning. And Doyle is set down on strikes for out number, Logan is set down on strikes for out number 2 as now I find myself wanting to look at what transpired in the parking lot and my head's somewhere else. As Joey Krug is the batter, and Derek Gents better stay focused on Krug at the plate. He could very well make this a 2-run game once again.
And good thing for Derek Gents is there's nobody on as he faces Joey Krug.
So Doyle grounds out to second. Logan strikes out swinging behind him, and Joey Krug bats with the bases empty, 2 outs. And with the bases empty is exactly how you want to face Krug. And he goes after a pitch down in the dirt, and there is no action in the bullpen for Finlandia. There is action in the bullpen for the Dolphins. Looks like Scott Fodor is throwing, lightly tossing. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Krug, and that's ripped and nearly took out his first base coach.
Just getting out of the way of that. Literally missed him by about an inch.
Luckily, that was about waist level. Never want to see one of those travel near the head of one of those coaches.
Waist could have been a problem too, though.
Waist could have been a problem too, but it was more above the belt versus below. And Krug tops one foul towards the Dolphins dugout.
Yeah, and you see DeMarco still hobbling. So that'll be interesting in the next half of the inning if Finlandia hasn't noticed, which I would be surprised if they haven't noticed yet, as he was lying down getting stretched. But it'll be interesting to see if they try to bunt.
There's no way they didn't notice. He tweaked it right in front of their bench. If they didn't pick that up, that's a pretty significant oversight. And Dolphins are on their way back to the dugout. Sal Russo with a half-hearted throw back to the mound.
That looked good from you. But yeah, as a player, if I see that, I'm looking to bunt, Joe. That's just me though. I'm looking to bunt and get on, take advantage of that.
Big swing by Krug, and he fouls one back. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That, of course, if you're not Joey Krug.
And look how deep DeMarco's playing over at third. I think that's respect for the amount of power Krug has, and he can really rip one in that direction. You need as much space as you can get.
Yeah.
Of course, not looking to bunt. Though if he did, I'm not sure DeMarco gets there in time. It would take Sal Russo charging up the line or Derek Gents making the play, though. Of course, Krug will not be bunting, just a hypothetical. Krug steps out of the box once again. The count's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another big swing. He just got a piece of that pitch.
Yeah, and he doesn't shorten up with 2 strikes either. He still has that same approach. And that big power swing with 2 strikes.
Well, the bases are empty. So why not? Though late in this game, the Lions do need base runners. Certainly can't afford to give outs away. And Krug has not given much up in this game at the plate. He's 2 for 4 in this game. Was also 2 for 4 in the early game. Here comes another 2-2 pitch, and that's inside for ball 3. Count is full. Here comes the payoff pitch. That's not even close. All the way to the backstop, and that is ball 4 to Joey Krug, who draws the 2-out walk, and that will bring Devontae Fleming to the plate.
The third baseman, number 22, Devontae Fleming.
Fleming with a base hit in his last at bat came around to score in the 7th inning. And the first pitch to Fleming off the glove of Russo and to the backstop. Taking second base on what I presume would be a pass ball is Joey Krug. That pitch was a bit high, but I think Russo probably could have caught that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that goes down as. I think it'll be a pass ball.
It is a pass ball officially, so Krug moves over into scoring position. Still 2 outs. Derek Gents trying to bring this one home for the Dolphins. They are 4 outs away from moving into the final round of this CUNYAC Championship Tournament. A rematch with the Bloodhounds of John Jay College awaits them should they close out this victory. As it looks like Pat Daddio will head back out to the mound for a word with Derek Gents. Count 1-0 on the batter Devontae Fleming. Fleming had a base hit off of Gents in his last plate appearance. The only hit of this game for Fleming. 1 for 4 in the early game as well.
Just when you think you've won the battle with the allergies, Joe, they're coming back a little bit. So credit to you fighting through this long day.
It's been a long day, and the allergies have made it longer, really. It's just been a tough time of it, but enough about me, as the count is 1-0 on Devontae Fleming. Joey Krug stands over at second base. 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Both of these two teams looking to keep their seasons alive. Derek Gents steps off for a moment.
I think he's having a tough time seeing the signs that Russo's putting down.
Here's the 1-0 pitch finally, and that's off the outside corner for ball 2. Count now 2-0 on Fleming. First base is open, but you won't walk the tying run to the plate intentionally. That's for sure, as that's a huge swing and a miss by Fleming for strike 1.
Yeah, and a good 2-0 cut there by Fleming. He was looking to make it a 1-run game with that swing.
No need for that here. He just needs to get on and give Gene Pimentel a chance as he takes ball 3 inside. Count now 3-1. Again, first base is open, but Gents certainly won't let this hitter go, intentionally at least. As that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2, and Fleming clearly didn't think so. We've seen, I think, 2 or 3 hitters called back to the batter's box in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help your cause for the next pitch.
Here comes the payoff pitch, and that is swung on and missed for strike 3. A big punch out for Derek Gents as he sets down Devontae Fleming on strikes, and the Dolphins maintain a 3-run lead heading into the bottom half of the 8th inning. CSI leads 13-10. Their turn at bat in the bottom of the 8th when we come back.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
We are back here on CSI Sportsnet. Dolphins leading the Lions 13-10 as Nick Miola crushes one into the corner out in left field. That is off the top of the wall, just above the retired numbers, as Nick Miola missed a home run by less than a foot.
Wow, I cannot believe that stayed in the park, Joe. As I was trying to switch our camera angles during, and I put my head down as I thought that was going to be gone, but regardless, a nice piece of hitting there to get something going here in the bottom of the 8th for the Dolphins.
Well, this might be a pitching change. It is. There was no action in the Lions bullpen. The new pitcher will come jogging out of the dugout, as that's the end of the line for Cole Howard. And while we have a moment, we appreciate the kind words and the comments thanking us for our broadcast. Of course, we enjoy bringing these games to you. And unfortunately, we won't have the call tomorrow, but CUNY will have that covered, whoever does advance. Once again, it's CUNY Athletics over at Facebook. They already have a link set up for tomorrow's broadcast, Game 1 of the CUNYAC Championship. And if you visit their Facebook page, you can see that. But Dolphins 3 outs away from moving into that game themselves, and they hope to hold on in the top half of the 9th inning, but a chance to add more to their lead here in the bottom half of the 8th as Nick Miola got things started. And the man on the mound for the Lions, swapping equipment, I guess, is going for a compression undershirt. I think he's switching numbers with one of his teammates. That might be the case. I'm not sure who that is standing out on the mound, but got some applause from the crowd.
So keeping the crowd in it during this long night.
I wish I could go stand out there without our polo on and bask in the cool air outside. It is certainly warm here in the press box.
Yeah.
We are not a long way from having that option, as we are now past 11 o'clock here at the CSI Baseball Complex. And with the shuffling of jerseys, I'm not sure that we'll be able to pick up who this is on the mound. I'm sure he'll be announced into the game, but looks like the jersey swap was with number 6.
This isn't the quickest jersey swap I've ever seen. This is just adding to the long day, because that took a long time to switch.
Well, there is no number 6, so maybe it was 5. Ben Loya swapping jerseys with someone? I didn't see. The pitcher is wearing number 32. Number 32 on the Lions roster is Nate Johnson.
Your pitcher, please. Now pitching for Finlandia, number 32, Nathan Johnson.
And it is Nate Johnson, the new pitcher for Finlandia, as that information comes just moments after I announce Johnson into the game over our broadcast. Live here at the CSI Baseball Complex, Johnson also announced into the game over a public address. That probably came through on our microphones. And what is this? There's
a wind picking up here.
Yeah, but what is this blowing onto the field? A cloud of dust with some sort of white particles in it blowing out onto the field. The wind is picking up in a big way here at the CSI Baseball Complex. And I'm not sure that's coming over our camera shot, but I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was either, as I'm trying to get a look.
When you think you've seen it all, and I think it's a safe bet those are, or at least there are some allergens contained in that air, and I don't want any part of it. But it's like a brown tint or a dusty tint coming over the field in front of us. Not really picked up on the broadcast, but not sure what that was or what exactly it is that's blowing out onto the field. Either way, when the action resumes, it will be Frank Muzio to face Nate Johnson.
And Muzio has been a nightmare.
Now the wind blowing into the press box. More of this mystery substance blowing out onto the field. Looks like snow.
It's a lot, too.
It looks like snow, but obviously that is not the case, as now
wow.
Frank Muzio is engulfed by dust at home plate.
That's certainly strange.
And now you can see it on your broadcast in the top right corner of your screen. as this draws laughter from some of our colleagues down the hall and some fans in the stands pulling out their camera phones to get a look at this. Not the first time we've seen the wind pick up here on campus and create such a dust cloud around home plate, but
yeah, certainly a strange sighting right now.
I don't know what it could be that's blowing in from behind the bleachers on the third base side. I don't know what there is back there, but it's covered the field as the 1-0 pitch to Muzio misses for ball 2. Well, that's pollen, according to Dave Pizzuto, of course. Last thing I need is pollen blowing our way. That must be some coat of pollen that came from those trees, and I'm sure I'll be suffering in the near future.
The very near future.
Yeah, it's been quite the day as that 2-1 pitch misses down and in. I think it's safe to say the field is engulfed in pollen now.
Yeah.
Muzio got caught in a small dust cloud at home plate, as that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Count is full on Frank Muzio. And that's lined into left field. It's down for a base hit. Initially holding at second was Miola, and he stops at third.
And that's Muzio's 5th hit of this game.
The first 4 were doubles.
So an incredible performance here by Frank Muzio at the plate.
I think we should point out the outfield appeared to be shifted for Muzio, the left-handed batter, and if the outfield isn't playing the shift favoring the right side, I think Muzio's probably on second with his 5th double. And with those 4 doubles, as I mentioned earlier, Frank Muzio sets a new CSI record, a record set by John Pomerico earlier this season. 4 doubles in a game for Muzio, a new best in the history of the College of Staten Island. Single game record. As Glenn Glenister looks at ball 1. Want to know the count on Glenister. Long look in as that's fouled back. Tom Krichkowski coming down the hall looking for tissues, and I've been looking all day, and I've been on the same 2 paper towels. And now the paper towels are on me as the wind comes into the booth, blowing pollen right into my face, and Glenister did not like that called strike 2, as I barely saw it, but I could definitely see his displeasure with the call. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Glenn Glenister. And that is ripped over the head of Nate Johnson into center field for a base hit. Mishandling the ball for just a moment was Josh Gregory, and holding at third is Frank Muzio, but Nick Miola comes home with the 14th Dolphins run, and CSI back out in front by 4-hour score. Dolphins 14, Lions 10.
Yeah, a nice piece of hitting there by Glenn with 2 strikes. That's got to feel good for him.
Anthony Lozada will be the batter. Lozada's had a nice game. 3 base hits in 4 plate appearances. As the first pitch to Lozada finds the outside corner for strike 1.
And I believe I heard some fans down low talking about the famous fog game that was played, that we brought up earlier in discussion in George Cancion's game-tying grand slam played at MCU Park. That was something that I'll never take part again. That fog game, couldn't even see each other in the outfield. I'm out there in center field I could barely see first and third base. And credit to both teams, we played through it. And that was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of.
Dust being lifted into the air once again, the chalk being spread throughout the right side of the infield, and because of that, we'll have another break in the action. Wind has certainly picked up, and there might be a storm on the way, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at the forecast right now as my voice is really beginning to go.
Really? We're just getting started here today.
Rain in the forecast for Sunday tonight. Looks clear, so it's just the wind picking up, and that's not rare here on campus, but there was potentially some rain in the forecast before the start of the weekend, and fortunately, very little of it yesterday, as the screen of my phone is now covered in pollen. That's just great. And that's lined straight back foul. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Anthony Lozada. Here's the 1-2 pitch once again, and that's out towards the cars parked beyond the bleachers on the first base side. And I think it's safe to say that windshields are safe following that foul ball. No oohs and ahs. We didn't get a look at that cracked windshield in between innings. Lost interest pretty quickly in that.
And also safe to say I will not be parking there tomorrow.
As Anthony Lozada looks at a called strike 3 for the first out of the inning. That will bring up John Pomerico.
Designated hitter, number 32, John Pomerico.
Oh. My pen is gone, and therefore my bid to complete my scorecard is gone. Lost somewhere in here following that gust of wind. I think I'll survive without it as John Pomerico looks at ball 1. Muzio, the runner over at third. Glenister on first, and that's up and away as Glenister was about halfway between first and second. He draws a throw, and Muzio comes in to score from third. If that ball isn't dislodged, we had a close play at the plate. Nice throw by Gene Pimentel. But not in time to get Muzio as the ball was dislodged from the glove of Austin Donahue. Dolphins now lead 15-10, and with their lead extended to 5 in the bottom half of the 8th inning, CSI has to like their chances of closing this game out.
Yeah, they certainly have. And head coach Mike Morrow going with a delayed steal there. That's something we did a lot last year and the prior years. But certainly last year we did that numerous times, and it tends to work.
As the wind picks up once again, sends dust and pollen everywhere, as can't be favorable for players out there on the field right now. I don't envy them, to say the least. And Pomerico takes a big cut at that 2-0 pitch and misses it for strike 1. Dolphins still with a runner in scoring position. That's Glenn Glenister over at second, and they'll throw behind Glenister, who gets back safely and is promptly greeted by a cloud of dust. Three balls and 1 strike now, the count on John Pomerico. And he takes a called strike 2.
Certainly feels like a storm is coming, Joe. But like you said, we checked, and or at least it says it that there is none coming.
Right now it appears to be just typical campus winds, and anyone who's been a student for any length of time here at the College of Staten Island is certainly accustomed to the winds here on campus. We speak about it all the time during our broadcast. Not sure there's much more we can say about it. Though this is the first time this year I can recall it raining dust and pollen over the field. And Pomarico continues to battle. The count remains full as he fouls back yet another 3-2 pitch. It has been a long day for the Dolphins. Our first game ran for quite some time, but not nearly as long as game number 2. Here's another payoff pitch to Pomarico, and he draws the walk. It's yet another emphatic bat toss by Pomarico into the on-deck circle. And
he's had some nice bat flips on these walks here today.
Certainly appreciates his base on balls.
Catcher, number 38, Sal Russo.
Sal Russo will be the batter. Russo hitless in this game, but has drawn a couple of walks. And the first pitch to Russo misses inside as right now Nate Johnson having some trouble finding the strike zone. Glenister dancing off of second base, induces the balk, and both runners will move up a base, and that puts Pomarico over at scoring position, standing on second. Glenister moves up to third.
So some RBI opportunities here for Sal Russo.
Here's the 1-0, and that misses up and away. This game now 3 hours old as we hit just shy of 11:20. I believe this game did get started shortly before 11:20. I should say 8:20. It's 11:20 now. Just about. Another 3-ball count for Nate Johnson. He's fallen behind 3-0 on Sal Russo, who could draw his third walk right here. And he does just that. Nate Johnson actually had some good numbers entering today's action, albeit in very limited work. 5 appearances in relief, only 9 innings pitched, picked up a couple of saves this season, pitched to a 3 earned run average, and in those 9 innings, you can figure it out. He allowed 3 earned runs, though he did allow 12 runs overall and 12 base hits, so 9 unearned runs allowed by Nate Johnson. Has walked 12 batters in those 9 innings, while only striking out 4. He's allowed 3 doubles and 40 batters have hit an even 300 against him. And the 0-1 pitch to Jet Navertney misses down and away in the dirt, evening the count at 1. One ball and 1 strike, the count on Navertney, and he takes a called strike 2. Bases loaded with Dolphins. Glenister on third, Pomarico on second, and Russo over at first. Corner's about halfway in for the Lions. Still only 1 out. And Navertney hits one out to right center field, and no one's going to get that one as that rolls all the way out to the warning track. It will be the center fielder, Gregory, who picks it up. His throw cut off by Doyle over at second base, and he tosses it into Pimentel, the shortstop, and that's a bases-clearing double for the Dolphins off the bat of Jet Navertney, and they now lead 18-10 as the wind picks up once again and just completely trashes our press box.
You could hear it over our microphones. And yes, a bases-clearing triple.
Can't help but feel like a storm is on the way, Bobby. This is
I know.
Far more wind than we've seen all day. Look at the way the flag is blowing in.
Yeah, wind's certainly picking up here, to say the least.
Dolphins now with an 8-run lead, and I'm sure they'd like to stay dry. We're not the only ones who have to be here early tomorrow morning. The Dolphins, of course, have to be here as well, and they've already played a pair of 9-inning games. That wind definitely brought some pollen here into the press box. I'm feeling the effects right now as the 1-1 pitch to Wilson misses up and away for ball 2. Two balls and 1 strike, the count on Wilson. And he takes a called strike 2.
And is this game now longer than the second game? Or no, not yet.
I thought we were at that point already. I could be wrong. Or longer than
Feels
the
that
second,
way.
longer than the second game? I'm not sure about that. The second game was longer than the first. I don't think this is longer than the second game yet. But we might be just about there. I think the second game came in just shy of 3.5 hours. Though I can check our broadcast link to confirm that. Let's take a look. As Wilson fouls that one back. Our first game of the day came in with a broadcast length of 3 hours and 1 minute. Game 2 at 3 hours and 50 minutes. As Wilson lines one through the hole on the right side for a base hit, and the Dolphins continue to pour it on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They put up 6 in the bottom of the 6th, and now 6 more in the bottom of the 8th. Their lead is 19-10.
So the Dolphins initially down 6-0 in this game. Fighting their way back ultimately, and now in a commanding 9-run lead.
I'm not sure what's been going on in the Lions bullpen. I have not seen any pitchers warming up in this game at all, and yet they continue to make pitching changes. So these changes look as if they're coming from the dugout. I could be wrong about that, just not looking at the right time, but we do have a new pitcher, and he's wearing number 1. It's Steve Guberti, assuming that number is correct, and I do believe it was Guberti who came out of the bullpen, a left-handed pitcher. Get a look at his numbers, should he have any, and he does. He's appeared in 4 games, started once, has pitched to an 0-1 record, a 37.8 ERA. He's only pitched 3 1/3 innings this season, allowed 12 base hits, 16 runs, 14 of those earned. He's walked and struck out 5 batters, 22 opposing hitters hitting at .545 against him.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Finlandia, number 1, Stephen Guberti.
So Guberti will look to get the Lions out of this mess. In the 8th inning, the Dolphins have blown this game wide open. First man that he will face is Anthony DeMarco. DeMarco came up limping after flying out earlier in the game. I believe that brought the 7th to a close. And DeMarco was worked on by one of the athletic trainers in front of the Dolphins dugout. He remained in the game at third base. Fortunately, didn't have to work much in the field in the following half inning. And now we'll get a plate appearance. We'll see if that hamstring discomfort affects him at the plate.
And again, 16 hits across the board for this Dolphins team. So the offense certainly present here in this tournament.
And it feels like DeMarco is being worked on over there in front of the Dolphins dugout about an hour ago. And it very well may be close to that, as he was retired for the last out of the 7th inning. We still are not through the 8th inning. Only 1 out in the Dolphins' half of the 8th.
Yeah, this is certainly a long inning.
You'd start clocking these innings and games. I could easily do that on my iPhone in front of me or my iPad, both of which always attached to the hip at all times during these broadcasts.
Yeah, besides that monster inning by John Jay in the previous game, I think this certainly takes the cake for the second longest inning.
So So Anthony DeMarco, the batter, he's behind in the count 0-1. Steve Gabberti working against DeMarco. And DeMarco rips one to straightaway left field. And once again, that falls in front of Brandon Teichman. And he's tried to deke the runner twice, putting his glove up, it appears. But in both cases, the line drive fell at his feet.
The right fielder, number 23, Nick Miola.
And Nick Miola will step into the box, looking to keep this party going.
It has been a huge inning for the College of Staten Island. Thankful I'm no longer keeping a scorecard, as there's just no room for this. And Miola fouls one away. Dolphins' lead is 9 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Things look bleak. CSI trailed 6-0 in the second, but once again, a big comeback by the Dolphins as Miola hits one slowly. Doyle over to second for one, and the turn by Pimentel over to first in time for the 4-6-3 double play. And finally, the Lions get out of the 8th inning. They allow 6 more runs in the inning, and those 6 runs extend the Dolphins' lead to 9. Our score, CSI 19, Finlandia 10. Lions will need at least 9 to keep their season alive in the top half of the 9th when we come back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America in your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead the Lions by a score of 19-10. Dolphins 3 outs away from moving on to the final round of the CUNYAC Baseball Tournament.
And we're lucky that scoreboard still works after all the work it's been through today.
Yeah, the scoreboard has certainly been utilized to the max. There's 29 runs in this game. We saw 26 runs scored twice already this weekend, going back to yesterday's games. That's lined to straightaway center, and Jordan Wilson goes down to a knee and makes the catch for the first out.
And that was well played by Jordan out there in center. So we've said it before, but those line drives right at you are the hardest, so he took a step back and came in.
That's a nice showing from the Lions as the entire team exits the dugout, and I would... That was actually a pinch hitter, and I should make note of it.
Probably his last game.
It is his last game, and I want to make sure I get his name pronounced correctly, as I did have a photo of the pronunciation guide. That's Aaron Froelich, the pinch hitter for Finlandia. That's fouled straight back.
And he hit that ball hard, too.
Lane Brown, another pinch hitter for the Lions here. Brown, a freshman. He's behind in the count 0-2. That one misses for ball 1. Looks like we have another pinch hitter on deck. On deck, it's Alex Sanalia. as Brown takes down for ball 2. That evens the count at 2. Well, the ruling is hit batsman. Bobby didn't think it hit him. I was left questioning what just transpired, but it is a hit batsman. So Lane Brown heads on over to first base. Sonalia swings and misses at the first pitch he sees for strike 1. Here's the 0-1, and that's fouled away. Back toward the parking lot, and that piques the interest of the fans.
Yeah, I believe that just missed a car, if I had to guess.
Oh, 0-2 the count. And Sonalia steps out of the box. Should the Dolphins hold on, it appears as if they will. They will face John Jay tomorrow here at the CSI Baseball Complex. You can follow that game live on the CUNY Athletic Conference Facebook page. John Jay needs only a single victory to secure the CUNYAC championship, while the Dolphins will need to win back-to-back games, certainly something this team is not unfamiliar with. They've done it before. And the 0-2 pitch misses outside. We're back on the air tomorrow with women's softball coverage. At least 2 games, as many as 3. That's line foul. Once again towards the parking lot. Count it 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Sonalia goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. So the Lions down to their final out.
The center fielder, number 2, Josh Gregory.
Josh Gregory will be the batter for the Lions. Deficit for Finlandia is 9 with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and a big swing and a miss by Gregory for strike 1. They're not holding the runner on over at first, and Brown is a good 10 or 15 feet off of first base. That last pitch evens the count at 1-1 on Gregory. Here's the 1-1, and that's up high for ball 2.
And if they wanted to, Muzio can easily sneak behind the runner and get him by a good 5 or 10 feet, as he's practically halfway to second.
Brown certainly having a good time over there dancing towards second base. As the 2-1 pitch is ripped into right center field. Wilson giving chase, and he won't get there. That one rolls onto the warning track. Wilson able to pick that ball up. They're waving the runner home. And half-heartedly making a break for the plate is Brown, and he's in with the 11th Lions run. And Josh Gregory picks up the 2-out RBI double. Dolphins lead cut to 8. Still 2 outs in the top of the 9th. And we have another pinch hitter.
Your attention, please. Pitch hitting for Finlandia, number 34, J.J. Piontek.
Well, that certainly came through over the microphone. It's J.J. Piontek, the pinch hitter. I believe this is his first at-bat of the day. And it is. First pitch he sees is taken for ball 1. Dolphins remain 1 out away as that pitch sails over the head of Piontek. Two 2-0 the count on the pinch hitter for the Lions, and he takes a called strike at the knees. That's fouled away. That runs the count even.
Dolphins 1 strike away from advancing to tomorrow's finals.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count. And the pitch from Gents is lofted softly over towards second, and Anthony Lozada makes the leaping grab for the final out of the game. And the College of Staten Island will advance to the CUNYAC Championship final tomorrow against the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. They defeat the Lions of Finlandia University by a score of 19-11.
With the first game scheduled at 12 noon, with the potential, if necessary, game to follow at 3 o'clock. We'd like to thank everybody for coming out to the CUNYAC Baseball and Softball Championships today. Please arrive home safely.
Well, I allowed our public address announcer to share that information with you. I'm fairly certain it comes over the microphones with enough volume to be heard on our live stream, but you heard the time and place tomorrow here at the CSI Baseball Complex. CUNYAC Championship Final, Dolphins and Bloodhounds. John Jay defeated the College of Staten Island earlier today. CSI will need a pair of victories to secure a CUNYAC championship tomorrow. And, of course, congratulations to the Lions of Finlandia University on making it this far. Of course, they entered this tournament an underdog, defeated Lehman College again, a team that defeated CSI 20-5 just about a week ago, and then moved on into today's action and eliminated the Bearcats of Baruch College and had the Dolphins sweating for quite a bit in that game. CSI trailed 6-0, didn't take the lead until much later in the game, and CSI ultimately does complete the comeback, goes on to win 19-11. Again, CSI Sportsnet back on the air tomorrow with women's softball championship coverage. Tomorrow, I believe first pitch of game 1 would be around noon, but I have to double check that. Either way, we're back on the air tomorrow. I think we do go on the air about 11:40 tomorrow morning. So that's it for tonight here on day 2 of the Baseball CUNY Championships. The College of Staten Island keeps their season alive with a victory over the Lions of Finlandia University. A great day of baseball, a long day of baseball comes to an end just shy of midnight. So this has been Joe Foreman, and for Bobby Drake, Dave Pizzuto, and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thank you for watching. Once again, our final score, CSI 19, Finlandia 11. Tomorrow's broadcast, Women's Softball CUNY Championship. If you can't attend the game, be sure to tune in here on CSI Sportsnet for that broadcast, and enjoy the rest of your night.